So subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So I talk about dating, relationships, confidence, self-love and self-care. And in today's episode, we're going to discuss making new friends as an adult. So yeah, if you're trying to make friends as an adult, you'll probably already understand how difficult this is. And you can end up being in a situation where you're starting over, trying to make a whole new lot of friends, or at least a good couple of new friends, right? And this can be really, really incredibly difficult. And as you know, I have been in this situation recently where I'm having to kind of start over with that. So some of the steps I've been taking to do that is getting out more to different events, different social events with people who are hopefully going to be much more like-minded. You know, people, if they've got the same similar sorts of interests as you, then you're more likely to be able to connect on a way in which you can understand each other if you've got something in common, right? So I've been going, hello, Olivia. Lots of love to you. How's your mum? So yeah, so as an adult, it's kind of can be quite awkward because as a teenager or whatever, you can be like more forthcoming, can't you? But when you're an adult, you're more reserved, you know? But the main thing is to put yourself out there in both comfortable surroundings and uncomfortable surroundings. But a lot of the time, our growth comes from uncomfortable surroundings. Olivia says she's fine back at work. Good. So I'm glad to hear that. And so what I've been doing is I've been going out more on purpose, which is hard because I do have disabilities, and I've been working hard on my mindset, on my body and stuff like that, to get fitter, to go out more. And this week I've been food shopping on my own, and then I've also been to a meetup, which was a friendship meetup. And then I went on a writing meetup. Now, I've never been to the writing meetup before whatsoever, but as you know, I love writing. I've got a number of books out. In case you didn't know, these are all over Amazon. Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. All of those are on Amazon. I've actually got more on Amazon. But yeah, so I love writing. I've been writing for 10 years now, writing and publishing for 10 years on Amazon. So 2015 I started. So I decided to go to a writing group, and I thought, you know, what's the worst that can happen? I don't get on and I need to leave. That's fine. So I think it's really important that when you go, you'll set yourself a goal of going through with actually going to see the meetup group, going to meet new people, but you always can give yourself the opportunity to have a get out clause. So if something doesn't feel right to you, then you can leave. I think it's better to try and meet people in a group setting if you can, first of all. That way you can gauge how they are with other people. You can see what their personality is like with different types of people. You can kind of gauge more how honest they are. I think sometimes it's harder to understand what a person's like one-on-one if that's your first initial meeting with them, because they can just be doing things to impress you personally. Whereas if they're in a group setting, then it's harder for them to just be trying to please you, because they're literally having to deal with multiple people at once, which is a lot harder than to just try and put one type of personality out there if someone's not honest, for example. And so I think when you meet people, it's good to try and approach different people. If you don't know what you should be saying, you know, like obviously this general chit chat, like asking how they are. You can say like an item of their clothing if you do. You can ask them like how long have they been coming to those meetups. Whereabouts do they live? Do they live in the city the meetup's held at? And it depends what you're doing. So the meetup I went to was social just for meeting friends this week. The first meetup I went to. And the group is very, very targeted to just friendship. The organizer makes it clear that everyone here is just looking for friendship. And he also says about people with mental health difficulties. Basically, he's very welcoming to diverse backgrounds, people with mental health challenges and stuff like that. So if anyone's got anxiety, he has these little squidgy things that you can put in your hand to talk to people if you're feeling nervous and stuff like that, right? And he actually hires a bar out downstairs. Well, the function room, sorry, I should say downstairs, because the bar's not actually in the function room, but it's nearby. So I really, really appreciate him doing that, you know. So if you are looking for friends, it's important that you meet up with people that are looking for friendship as well, because obviously if you go on a dating site, people are looking usually for dating. Even if they say they're just looking for friendship, a lot of the time people on dating sites are still looking to date and get into a relationship. As I found out through Facebook dating, for example. Do you remember I was on Facebook dating? I did a review about that, saying the friends button is not really a friends button. It's more like a friends with benefits button, you know, and very quickly those messages turn into more than friendship. So personally, I wouldn't use dating apps if you're just looking specifically for friendship only. Absolutely, strictly, nothing else but. Obviously, if you're in two minds, you wouldn't mind a friend or something more, then fine, go for gold, right? But if you're looking specifically just to make friends, you need to go to common interest groups and people that are also just looking for friendship. Therefore, you know that you're kind of on the right track and having the same sort of mindset. That doesn't mean to say that it's going to work out like that, because some people can still get attracted to you, them, and vice versa. Right? But we have to be very clear and intentional about what we're looking for. At the moment, all I'm looking for is friends. If the right opportunity comes up, because I'm still very happy with myself and content, and I'm not looking to get into a relationship, right? I'm really not at the moment. Like, I'm going to be in Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. I worked out for at least 5 years. I'm only in my second year because I want to work on myself first and foremost before any relationship, right? And I want to have like healthier friendships and you know, like different experiences with friends and stuff like that, rather than like going for a relationship. I'm not saying I'm never going to have a relationship, but my primary aim in life isn't actually that at the moment. So when I was let me just take a couple of comments. Right. Oh, Olivia, I've just found out my new timetable for year 9. I don't really like my new teachers. Oh, that's really not good. But you got someone called Miss Oliver. Oliver? That sounds a bit similar to your name, doesn't it? Olivia. Yeah, I have one. It is also used as a pen. What do you have? I think I've missed part of the conversation. Anyway, let me carry on with what I'm saying, because lots of people are watching me to do with friendship. So, in terms of friendship, right? So be very intentional when you're looking for friends. Make sure that you are going out with the mindset of what would a friend look like? You know, what types of qualities are you looking for? Are you looking for honesty, directness, respect, compassion, empathy, caringness, all these types of things? So when I go to meetups, I can actually assess people and I can see if people have got red flags, right? So what does a red flag look like? A red flag is when someone says something and says something that directly contradicts itself. So both truths cannot be true, right? Both things cannot be true. So if you come across someone and they say one thing, then they say exactly the opposite, then it's not true. For example, one person told me they hadn't taken any video footage of a certain thing. Then they said they uploaded the video footage. It's like, of the thing they said they haven't got the video footage of. I'm like, well, that's completely not true then, is it? Both truths can't exist. I didn't like go on and on about it, but I did say, you know, both, it can't be true. It's contradictory. They're like, I don't have a YouTube channel, but I uploaded this video footage that I didn't have to YouTube. I'm like, one, you told me you didn't have a YouTube channel, and two, you said you didn't have video footage. Now you're telling me you've uploaded video footage to your YouTube channel. That's not right. And this guy watches the channel. Hello, you know, I'm talking about you. So that is a red flag. I'm sorry, but it's a red flag, even though I know you're probably watching me right now. But it is, you know. So it's not good. Honesty is my top trait I look for in people. If people are contradicting themselves, that's like no go to me. Right? I still think this guy's okay to talk to at meetup, but I wouldn't want to get any, you know, I wouldn't be able to make a friend like out of that person, because, you know, it's not honest, is it? Do you know what I mean? So it's really, really important that you're very intentional and that you look for red flags. There's someone else at one of the meetups before, and this person again talked about something that's a red flag for me. They talked about fighting in their past. Right. So, I mean, it was to do with the bullying situation. You know, they've been bullied and they fought the bully. But I personally don't like fighting. So for me, that is a bit of a either amber or red flag. You know what I mean? So, and then someone else, yeah, and then someone else was not good about something else to do with like, it's to do with other things. I gotta be careful what I say here, because I don't want to break any confidentiality stuff. So, I think I'll leave it at that. But basically, if you look for contradictions, you look for things that you don't think is good. Oh, yeah, there was a scenario as well with a guy this week who was asking me back to his home, clearly not looking for friendship, right? So the organizer was taking care of that. They knew about that. But that wasn't a great experience for me because he clearly, I told him I'm asexual, I'm not interested in sex. And he still proceeded to ask me for, like, go home with him. Right? There's a red flag, more than a red flag. It's alarm bells, get the hell out of there, right? So you have to be very intentional. Like, what qualities are you looking for in person? Honesty, integrity, respect, kindness, compassion. Obviously, you can't necessarily tell if a person's got absolutely all of these things when you first meet them. But what vibe do you pick up from them? Do you pick up a really good vibe? Are they intentionally looking at you when you talk to them, or are they looking away? That really bugs me when I'm talking to someone and then they're going hi to other people, hi, like high five, oh yeah, right mate. And it's like, I get that people are friendly to different people and that might be perfectly fine for another person, but for me personally, when I'm talking to someone, I like person to be looking at me, not looking at other people like that. I find it really annoying and distracting and a bit rude, to be honest. So decide what type of friend or that you would like, what type of friend or friends you would like, what behavior you appreciate, what behavior annoys you, what type of personality you're looking for, and be very intentional about what you like to do, you know what I mean? Because it's very important that you get good friends for you, whatever good friendship looks like to you, right? So you can have different types of friends. You can have an acquaintance friend. You can have a friend that you hang out with quite regularly. You can have like a really close friend. You can have like a best friend. Or some people just say friends in general when they just talk to lots of people a lot of the time and hang out with different types of people at different events and venues. So you have to define what friendship looks like to you. So be very intentional. What type of friend do you want? And then obviously, like, what qualities are you looking for in that friendship, and what would an ideal type of friend look like to you, or ideal types of friends in different categories. Like I said, you could have like a more distant friend, you could have a friend you see more regularly. So this is the types of questions you need to be asking yourself, or at least have in the back of your mind and answers for, right? And if you see any behavior that you think's red flag, like there's a person that I get on really well with. I've been to more than one meetup and seen them at different meetups. I get on really well with him, but he is gossipy. He is gossipy, and if someone's gossiping about other people to you, they're going to gossip about you to other people. So that's not a good sign, right? And he's like not asexual but very much sexual, which is just too much for me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind hanging around with different people with different sexualities, but if someone's very, very sexual and loves that type of thing and you don't, then it can be a very big mismatch, do you know what I mean? It can get a bit uncomfortable. And you know what I mean? So you've got to look at values and things like that. Now, not everything comes out straight away, so you have to kind of like give it time and think about it. Do you know what I mean? Think about like what type of friendship you want. That's what I'm trying to say. And look for meetup groups on meetup.com, for example, that is just looking for friends, and look for people in common interest groups. Now, if you are someone who is already in a relationship and you're literally looking to make other friends, you need to be very, very upfront about this, right? You need to say that I'm in a relationship. I'm literally looking for strictly for friends only. I'm very happy with my partner, and this is why I'm looking for a friend. Because obviously, if you've got a partner, people might be like, well, why are you looking for friends? Like, surely your partner is your best friend. Like, why would you need to have loads of other friends as well? Now, other people could have the view that having loads of other friends is very, very healthy, right? And if you're moving to a new city, for example, if you move to your partner's city and you have no friends, it can be like quite isolating, do you know what I mean, and lonely. So you might want to make some friends. Similarly, if you are, going to be away from your partner, you might want to make some friends then, but just always check in with yourself. Like, why do you want to make new friends? Do you really want to make friends for friendship? And, what would that look like? And make sure you put strict boundaries in place with that person, right? So when I went to the friendship meetup this time for the second time, I did actually see someone who I found to be very good, because it seemed to be very respectful, polite, easygoing to talk to, and non-seductive. That's very important, non-seductive. So if it's a guy that I think's interested in me romantically or attracted to me, the guy will have an energy of seduction about him, and his body language and behavior will be very seductive. But I met a guy who was non-seductive, so I felt quite comfortable around this guy, right? And he is Indian. I'm going to be honest about that, which I've mentioned. And so I did ask, because he said specifically who was at this meetup for friendship, and I said I'm looking for friendship as well. So I decided to ask him if he wants to connect, like by phone or social media, to meet up sometimes, a friend, to go to a restaurant, which I went to earlier, which is why I'm dressed up. I went to Wok Wok with him because he's been to other places. He's a foodie, I'm a foodie. And he says that he likes doing things on his own, but he also likes doing things with friends. And I thought, as we both are into food, the restaurant's really near to where I live, just giving away the area I live in now. And so I thought it'd be nice for us to both get together because, I'm looking for friends. He's looking for friends. I like Indian people. And, I thought it'd be really cool, and because I felt comfortable around him, comfortable enough at that point to actually think about meeting up with him, then I felt that was a good thing to do. I didn't know his reaction, but he reacted really well to it. So that was good. So he connected by phone and on Facebook. And then when he allowed me to be friends with him, and then what happened is I found out partway down his profile he was married. He didn't actually tell me he was married with a kid, right? So obviously I'm the type of person who's very honest. I'm asexual. So the good thing about having an asexual friend is someone who's not got any sexual attraction whatsoever. I'm a pure asexual. Is obviously there's going to be no sexual stuff between me and him, and I'm not sexually attracted to him, which is great. If someone's married or got a partner, they know that I'm not going to be having sex with them or ever have any intentions or insinuation of sexual stuff, because I'm not interested in that. And to be honest, when I found out he's married and kid, I was a bit taken aback that he didn't express that up front. I did mention that to him at the meal. I said, oh, I think it'd been good, like just as feedback, I think it'd be good if you let girls know that you're already married and got a kid, because on his Facebook it doesn't say he's married and or even in a relationship, so I had to scroll down to get to know what he's like. I had to scroll down like his Facebook, otherwise it's on private, but I had to scroll down quite a bit to find this out. So I found out his wife is cool with him having friends. She knows all about it and everything like that. So, and he's probably going to be going back to his country in January, but I didn't used to like having temporary friends, someone I could just hang out with a few months. I always thought it's always good to have like long-term friends. But having said that, this guy did add me to his social media, not just add me on his phone. So I know that if and when he goes back to his own country, which is likely in January, then he will be able to keep in touch with me if he wants by Facebook. But I see value in having a friendship with him because we both like doing some of the same stuff. We're both just looking for friendships. He's in my city. And so it's like, why not hang out with each other as long as his wife is cool about that? And I know that I'm very trustworthy and he's very trustworthy. So I went out for the meal with him and it was really, really good. He was very respectful. He says that he's had problems in the past, where he's really just wanted friendship and women have taken that the wrong way. And I did say to him that I'm actually really relieved he's just looking for friendship, because I do have relationship anxiety, to be honest. And because I didn't know he had a wife at that time, I was getting quite anxious just because I wasn't, I know he said he just wanted friendship and I said that, but you never know, do you, sometimes? Unless you're, what I mean? You don't know if you don't know the person. But when I saw he's got a wife and kid and I knew how he behaved with me and I didn't feel any seduction from him, like I didn't feel any attraction from him towards me, then I just felt like, oh, he's probably, fine and a cool person to hang out with. Anyway, I had a nice meal and we had a nice chat and we got on really well because he was talking about AI, he can code, which I didn't know. And then meet up, I told him I'm attracted to coders, but I didn't realise he can code because he's into data analytics and I was just visualising mathematics and spreadsheets, not that he can code. So that, I did say to him, I didn't know you could code. So I wasn't saying that directly to him. I was just talking about it in general. I'm like, oh my God, you put your foot in that one, didn't you, Sandra? But I didn't know he could code. But anyway, I like it because he's non-seductive and I know that I can just be friends with him. And I know he's off limits because he's got a wife, he's got a kid, and I'm really happy about that. I actually felt so much more relieved when I found that out because I don't want to be having any like ambiguity. And it was so nice to have a meal with him because he literally just wants friendship. And he was non-seductive, none of that stuff that I get with guys who are really interested in me, romantic, and sexually attracted to me, like a bit like that type of on heat type of vibe. Do you know what I mean? There was none of that, thank God. And it was just nice because I could just be myself because I knew he wasn't looking at me in a way other than a friendship way and getting to know me, and that we got on well. So that was really, really nice. And he could share his opinions about things. I could share my opinions. I found it very healing, actually. I found the whole thing really nice. I could just sit there and chat to a guy with no sexual stuff. He told me he's only attracted to his wife like that. And no, made it clear it's not a date. And I already knew it wasn't because I knew he was married with a kid. But by the time I went on by the time I met up with him for the food, but I was still glad he clarified that, and it was just really nice because I could sit back, relax, chill. And I usually have nervous energy when I'm with guys because I don't know what their intentions are, but I knew what his intention was, and that was just friendship and to chat and have some nice food together. So I thought that was really good. So I found the whole experience very healing. I was really nice that someone's interested in me. He asked me questions about myself. I asked him questions about his self. We have some interesting things in common. Like we're both talking about the EPCOP Centre, both talking about AI and stuff like this. So yeah, food. He was showing me a really good set of videos on his Instagram, which was all about different ice creams. So yeah. Someone's writing some really horrible thing in the messages. I'm really not interested in that. So yeah, I'm not interested in that. Right. So I'm hiding that message because I'm not interested. I'm not interested in people saying sexual stuff to me. I'm not interested in sex. I've made that very clear. I'm asexual, not sexually attracted to anyone. And I'm really happy about that. Thank you very much. So, yeah. So I'm really, really, happy this guy just wanted friendship. And it's nice as an adult to make friends. And he was describing how difficult it's been for him to just make friends because women, a lot of the time, even when they're on friendship sites as part of dating sites or whatever, they're still looking for more than friends. So for him, it's really nice because he said, I looked up asexuality and came to understood that you're not going to be sexually attracted to me. So he said that's really good because it's had women in the past that have said stuff to him that's not appropriate, because he's a married man. And so, and so they just have had different ideas. So I think it's really, really nice, and I found that it was so wonderful to just sit and chill and relax and my nervous system be a lot more calmer and just be myself, and he was very relaxed. And he's, like I said, I just took a picture of my food. I didn't take any picture of him because he's not on social. He's not all over social media. And I said, I'm just taking a picture of my food. And he's like, oh, it's okay. You don't have to. And I showed him. So it's okay. You don't have to explain and show me. Like, he just believed me and trusted me, which is really nice, because I've had some people that might not, they might be curious as to know what I'm doing. But you know what I mean? If I don't go over people's boundaries like that. So yeah, I found it very, very healing. So I met this person through a meetup specifically for friendship. So that's what I would recommend if you're looking for friends, to specifically go to meetups that are definitely just looking for friendship and to make friends. And then I went to the writing meetup. Now, I really loved the writing meetup in the beginning. I ended up chatting to a guy. He was an older guy, married guy. But, we were talking about writing. He's talking about poetry. I got talking about my How to Date an AI Bot book. And he was saying, oh, there's an article I saw about AI, dating AI. So he showed me that, which I've still got to read, actually. And so, yeah, it was like, it was a nice experience. But then the latter part of the night, I ended up being on a table on my own. There was two more, there were still some people left with two sets of people, but they weren't talking to me or including me. And then all the people that were on my table, they all left, and one of them went to a different table. They didn't invite me over, so I was a little bit disappointed in that, if I'm honest. So with the friendship meetup, I find that I get on really well with people there. And then and then I got on well with people before, and they seem all really interested in talking, in conversing, like talking about different things, happy to see me, really invested in chatting to me. Whereas the writing group, it was like 50-50. Like I had a really good conversation with the older guy, and he was really nice. He said, he saw some of my YouTube, and he's like, oh, you're a good storyteller. That's why you do well on YouTube, because you verbally tell really good stories. And so that was a really nice compliment I felt. So I'll probably try the writing meetup again, but because it's going to be a different venue next time, and people could be different there. But I wasn't feeling as good there, and I think part of it is the reason that a lot of the people are just hobbyists. They just like writing as a hobby. They don't actually have like publishing experience. Obviously the person who does the meetup does, but the majority of the people I talk to, they just write for themselves, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. Olivia, I think you should leave that friend that went to a different table, because I think they didn't deserve your time, Sandra. Oh, thank you. They weren't actually a friend though, Olivia. The person who left but you're right that, the person who was at the table who left, he was the actual guest speaker, which I was even kind of really shocked, because he could have just said, oh, come on over. So he went to the toilet and then left his coat and bag there, and then just went off to another table instead of coming back to the table that I was sat on with him. He went to the toilet and just went to another. And I said to him when I went to the toilet, I said, I'm probably going to leave in a couple of minutes. I said, just to let you know, your bag and coat's over there. Do you want me to bring it over? He goes, oh, no, it's fine. But yes, I think it's very nice, Olivia, you said that. Because they don't deserve my time. Yeah, so that's why I'm in double minds whether to even go to this meetup again, the writing one. I think I'll give it another shot, because the first person I spoke to, Scott, is it Scott? Yeah, he was really, really nice. And I got so well with him. His family is from like same area as my family. But I think that's really nice you said that. But yeah, this was a guest speaker. So I went on a table because everyone else had the actual meetups advertised from 7 till 9, but sorry, 5 till 7, that one, the writing meetup. And the host said to me she can't get around everyone. So that was okay. I understood that, because she said loads of people. I said, do people stay later than 7? Or she goes, oh yeah, some people are here till 10. So I moved from because Scott left, because he had to go, because he had to travel quite a way back to his home. I then went and sat on another table, and that was with the guest speaker, a woman that was sat next to him chatting to him the whole time, and 2 other people. The person that was next to me, I offered them some of my naked bar and then left. I think they were autistic, so I don't think they were very comfortable with me talking to them. So they left, which is understandable. Like, it's got nothing to do with me, but I was the one making the effort to talk to them. And then there was another woman who was an older woman. She writes for hobby. I think she liked the social side of it. So I was the one doing most of the talking and that. And then, yeah, so the person who was with the guest speaker, she left. And I did say to him, because I came in later through me, I said, oh, were you the guest? I'm assuming you were the guest speaker today. And he said, oh, yeah, I was a guest speaker. He goes, oh, you couldn't have timed it better. I just finished my talk when you came. I said, well, I told the host that I was going to be coming a bit later. I said I didn't even have my food in the oven till like 10 to 5. So, I didn't eat my food. Sorry, I didn't get my food out of the oven till 10 to 5. And I told her on the phone that I would be, I told the organizer I'd be coming a bit later. And I said, to be honest, I know I'm not your target market, because I write non-fiction and I read non-fiction, and I know he's not non-fiction. So I was honest about that. But I said, oh, how was the talk? And he said, oh, it was difficult because the hand dryer, because it's not even a stage there, it's in a pub. So I said, I expected it's quite difficult to talk, wasn't it? Because it's the environment. Goes, yeah, I was a bit taken aback by the fact he said something about, oh yeah, I noticed there's a party here, and then a birthday party. And then he said, well, I thought that I heard the hand dryers going off, and that was quite distracting. He goes, I thought no one was listening to me. But then I made a joke And everyone laughed, so I knew they were listening to me. And I said, oh, do you find it really hard then in environments like this to speak? He goes, well, no, not really, because I'm used to being in theatre. And I think he said he's done some television before as well, but he loved the theatre the most. He says that he's kind of used to it. He said, oh, just the secret is just to talk loud, like talk really, really loud and try to maintain interest. So I thought the conversation with him went really well. And he said, oh, I've got to go to the toilet because I've been holding it a while or something. So he went and then came back. And I was thinking, he's a long time in there. And then I looked back and he was at the other table with the host and other people. And I was left on my own. So I think, like, I understand the host, you know, she had to go around a lot of people during the 2 hours. So she says she can't get round everyone. But at this point, there was only the table that she was on with this, where this guest speaker went, and another table with 4 people. And I was on my own. So either the host or him and the guest speaker could have said, oh, do you want to join us? But they didn't. So I was just left there on my own, which I didn't think was very good, if I'm honest. Olivia, I hurt my head, turning my head when you said that he was a guest speaker. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, you don't really expect a guest speaker to behave like that, really, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he wanted to go and chat to people, he could have easily said, I'm getting my, get my bag and get his bag and coat, and then say, oh, I'm just going over another table now if you want to join us. Because I understand maybe he was networking to get more sales or something. I don't know, but it was a bit rude, I thought. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I did tell him I'm not his target audience, so maybe that was the reason. But even so, I'm a human being that could have been spoken to. So at the moment, like, it was a 50-50. Like, I got on really well in the beginning there at the meetup, but then after the guy I was talking to left, it was just, like, not great for me. I felt a bit left out, to be honest. Olivia, because I was making something for my intervention teacher. I'm sorry you hurt your head. I thought you meant you hurt your head turning your head when I said about the guest speaker, because I thought you meant that you were shocked that it was a guest speaker who would behave like that. That's what I thought you meant. Sorry. I thought you meant like your head hurt. Sorry. I think I misunderstood what you said. Or the meaning behind it. Yeah, because I was quite shocked it was a guest speaker. So I'll see how that, but I have to say, like, if you're meeting it as an adult, if you're meeting anyone at a meetup, and, you know, give a meetups a chance, but if you do feel like you're feeling left out there and it's not bringing your energy level up, it's just dragging you down and you don't feel good, then obviously stop going to the meetups. I stopped going to one lot of meetups that I've been going to for a very long time last year, because I felt like I wasn't included anymore and it was just dragging me down. I didn't feel good there anymore. I'm not saying I'll never go back to it. I'm still connected to that group, but the people changed and it's just like, but so far the actual friendship group is really good. And so I hope to go there, you know, and Tech Exeter are starting to do meetups again next month. So I think, you know, like, it's very important to try and find like-minded people, like whatever your interests, whatever your hobbies, try and like, get around those people. But it's always hard as an adult to know whether to connect with someone or not. I'm very upfront, you know. I thought the guy who was looking for friendship was quite shy. I picked that up from him. So I was the one who asked if he wanted to meet up for food afterwards, because he said he was looking for friendship. I said I'm looking for friendship. I thought, well, do I take a risk and just suggest it? Because I don't know what his situation is. I don't know what the outcome's going to be of that. Or do I just not say anything? But I think it's just a shame to waste that opportunity if you're both looking for the same thing. So yeah, I'm glad I asked him and we got on well. So that's really good. He's now with another friend. So yeah, I felt it was a very healing experience, you know. And it's hard putting yourself out there, especially if you've had friendships that didn't go well in the past, you know, and you've been hurt and betrayed or deceived. You know what I mean? Or even if you've just lost friends, it's quite hard. But I'm taking on board myself to just think, you know, this might be a temporary friendship. I'm hoping it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I think he'll probably, if he wants to, still keep in contact with me when he goes back to his country. But obviously he's got wife and kid. They're his main priority. So I won't expect him to be like messaging me those. And if he wants to message me, he can or not. There's no pressure there. But I think there's genuine value in having this friendship while he's here for a few months, because, you know, like I said, we both like doing some of the same sorts of things, which means that we can enjoy commonality and common ground and just chill out with each other. Do you know what I mean? And so I find that really, really nice. And so I think, you know, if you're going to look for friends, try and find friends where you can be honest with each other as much as possible, even if you're very different, where you can you know, feel like you can relax and your nervous system can calm down around them, and where you feel like you can just be yourself and you feel like you're equally interested in each other's, you know, and what you've got to say, each other as a friendship way, you know. Is that person asking you questions about yourself? Are you asking questions about themselves? Are you jointly talking about different topics and things? Are you both talking about a friendship? Do you know what I mean? Are you both like thinking along the same wavelength? Because when you have reciprocity, it just makes it feel so much better. And I have to say, getting out to these different meetups, you know, like I've been to 2 meetups back to back in not back to back in the day, but in terms of like I've been 2 days I've been going to meetups. Then I met up with this guy I made friends with, so I've been out 3 different times, and it's been really good for me because I was getting feeling quite down before. Hello RCB, how are you doing? I'm doing good, thank you. I got sparkle on. Look at my sparkle. I like my sparkly skirt, right? I just have to show that off because I love it so much. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, by the way. So yeah, so make sure that you are intentional, they're intentional, and it's good if you've got stuff in common, because then you've got stuff to talk about, you've got stuff that you can hang at, you know, shared interests you can hang out together with, and things like that. Make sure obviously you keep checking yourself, because obviously you don't, if there's just friendship, you don't want to be getting attracted to this person unless you're both single, of course, and attraction's a thing that might happen between both. But obviously if the person you're friends with is taken, like the new friend I've got's taken, then you have to know categorically anything else is off limits other than friendship. I'm really good with that. You know what I mean? Because I'm very good with boundaries. So, you know, if you are a person who's actually in a relationship, make sure you find other people that is good with boundaries as well, because you don't want to be worried. Like, a person needs to relax, right? If someone's in a relationship with someone already, they don't need to be worrying that the person that they're seeing as a friend is going to think more of them. They just want to chill the heck out and just have an actual friendship. And this was what worked really well tonight, because I'm not looking for a relationship at the moment. I just want to chill out and enjoy myself with someone who respects me, who seems compassionate, who has some similar interest to me, who I feel comfortable around. I just want to chill the heck out, right? And just enjoy food and maybe doing some other activities with that person, right? And he just wants someone who is literally going to make sure that he knows his boundaries, because he's married, and he just wants, you know, because it's a bit lonely for him. It's a bit difficult because he does lots of things on his own and he has got friends. But obviously, sometimes he said there's some things he'd like to do with someone. He doesn't do them because he thinks it's more something you do with a person, which I understand, you know. And he doesn't want to get into a situation where women are going to come onto him when he's married, because he's faithful to his wife. So because I'm asexual, I'm very luckily honest and very boundary driven. That works out really well, because he can chill out knowing that I'm not after him, and I can chill out knowing he's not after me, you know, as in we're not attracted to each other, as in, you know, nothing's going to happen that way. Like, I'm just going to chill out with someone who I can call a friend, and he wants to chill out with someone you can call a friend. That's it. And, you know, I think that's really good. The whole experience for me was very healing, because it's like, wow, I've got this person I can just chill and relax with, who's actually genuinely interested in me as a person, being nice to me, not seductive at all, which is so good. And my nervous system can just be nice and calm around. It's really, really good for me. I want to experience more like genuine friendships with just guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, nothing like entangled in more than friendship. I think that's really healthy. Someone's saying about drugs, don't like drugs at all, so I'm not gonna put up with that. Right, so yeah, that's gone. I don't want people talking about drugs. I have to block people that are telling me to smoke drugs and stuff, because it's just disgusting. And sparkle and shine going through my mind after seeing the skirt. Thank you. This chat is all about being respectful. I'm not interested in drugs. I'm not interested in alcohol or sex or any of that rubbish, right? I'm not interested. That's rubbish to me. I'm not interested. If you're a drug addict, go to another channel. I'm not interested. Go to a druggy channel. You know, it's absolutely rude as well. You know, insulting. Absolutely insulting. I'm not interested. People start being rude on my channel, I'm just going to, you know, block them. So, and it's a shame if some of you people come on my channel saying rude stuff that actually watch me usually. But I mean, even if I block you, still watch me, but you can't comment anymore. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to have it, right? I'm very particular these days. It's not happening, right? So, yeah, so I just wanted to say how healing it's been. And I'm going to continue to still go to meetups. I'm going to tech meetup. I don't usually make friends so much at a tech meetup. I usually just make business associations because it's business. But it's, you know, you can meet people at business events. If you're into business, you can make friends over business events. You can make friends over like podcasting. If you've got a podcast, you know, where you really gel with the guest. You can make friends. You could make friends like when you're out and about, like if you're like at the cinema or theatre, or if you're like, you know, going to an event, you can end up making someone who's your friend. You can also make friends of you know, be friends with, you can make friends through other friends as well. So I think it's very important to try and make friends though within the realms, if you can, of like friendship meetup groups, whether that's online or in person, or even just local interest groups, you know, so you can get chatting. But I think you need to make it clear what your intentions are when you meet up, or at least when you do meet up for the first time, establish intentions. But it's best to make intentions before you meet up, so people know that you're just looking for friends, right? Because as an adult, you know, some adults can be seen as creepy if they say things a certain way. Some adults can be seen as like weird. Do you know what I mean? But you don't really get this if you're like a kid or teenager. It's like, yeah, everyone hangs out together. As an adult, it can be very difficult and isolating. And I don't think it's easy necessarily to make friends some of the time, but I think you have to put yourself out there, and you do have to make the first move sometimes. Because if you don't make the first move and they don't make the first move, no one makes the first move. Do you know what I mean? And then you're both like stuck. You know, you might meet people who want to be friends with you. And then, do you know what I mean? You might want people to be friends with you, but it's not happening because you haven't approached them and they haven't approached you. So, it's very important that you both get the intentions right. So you can meet people on days out as well, and day trips and all sorts of stuff. I know some people, depending on what age you are when you're watching this, sometimes you can make, you know, there's like friendship groups for seniors. That's not my target audience here. It's most like 18 to 35-year-olds that watch my channel, just so you know. But I know there are a few like older people in their 60s, for example, that watch this channel. Hello to you. So, you know, like whatever your age group is, because they have meetups for different age groups. But I personally like going to meetups that don't have age groups, you know, that are not just for age groups. But if you feel most comfortable around people your own age, then obviously there's different meetups where you can go to meet up with people like are over 50, over 40, over 30, under 30, 25 to 35, 35 to 45, all this type of thing. So go where you feel more comfortable. I personally think it's good to like mix with different age groups of people, so that you're not, you know, like you're not fixated on one particular age group. But if you feel most comfortable around your own age group, then when you're out at friendship groups, try and hang out with people who you think might be in your age group, so that you can actually, you know, like get on with the person, have more in common, and be the same type of intellect, if you think that's what a similar age person can do. Like, as you know, romantically I'm into younger guys, but yeah, I think the guy I met tonight, if I'm understanding correctly, I think he's more nearer my birth certificate age, I think. But you know, he's not like in his 20s, for example, which is good because I'm attracted romantically to guys in their 20s. Although he does look younger than his age. So, because he told me roughly, like, what decade he's in. I think. So yeah, anyway, I think it's really important, like, to know that as an adult, it's okay to make friends. You do need to make friends as an adult. Some people, some friends, they move countries. Some people just move, like, within a country. Some people you lose in touch with. Friendships can come and go. Just like romantic partners can come and go. But the one constant in life is yourself and change in and of itself. And I do I haven't before, but I do think at the moment I'm valuing like temporary or short-term friendships, or friendships that might not, like with this person, I know they might not be in this country for very well, they're not going to be in this country for very long, most likely. But I'm okay with that. But I mean, I think it's if you do be friends with someone like in person for a short time, I think really it's respectful if they're going to add you to their social media, so they still want to keep in touch with you or share some of their life with you after that, because that shows that they do actually really like you and are wanting you to be part of their life and world, even if you don't meet up with each other anymore. I think that shows that they're actually more invested. Whereas I've had like in the past, I've had like, for example, a guy who said he wanted friendship, but then he wasn't going to add me on his social media. He was only going to speak to me by phone. He was going to go back to his country. And I'm thinking, well, do you know what I mean? I was a bit insecure about that at the time, because I was thinking, if you really want to be friends with me and you say you like me that much, then why wouldn't you want to add me on your social media as well? Especially if you're not going to be here for very much longer. It's a bit like, oh, I only want to see you for this time. I don't want to bother with you after that. And that was a bit rude, I think. So anyway, I wasn't sure if that guy was actually interested in me romantically or not. So I'm still not 100% sure about that guy. But anyway, he's gone now. So I think, take your time, make sure you try and pick a person or people who you think has integrity. He's very like self-assured and doesn't need someone to just placate them and just make them feel good about themselves. They're got a sense of self and who they are. Like, because this guy is just a friend and married and got a kid, he's very well established in his life. He knows what he wants. He's got boundaries. He knows how how connections work, and he's got a good sense of self, like what he wants in his life, what's good, what's not good. Not doesn't mean to say me and him will always agree on stuff, but what I'm trying to say to you is they have a good sense of self. And I think that's the type of friend you really want to go for. If you're going for someone who doesn't really have a good sense of self and is worried about what other people think all the time, you end up getting like a chameleon, someone who just changes to whoever's around them. That's why I said it's very important to try and meet someone at a group meetup. I didn't used to think this, but I do now, because you can see how they behave with multiple different people, not just yourself, although obviously that takes observation of them with other people. But you can see if they change to whoever's around them, like a chameleon, which you don't want. You want someone who's steadfast and strong, and whether you see them with this person or that person, they're still going to be the same. When I'm on this channel, if you ever meet me in person, you'll know that I'm the same on this channel as I am in person. I'm no different. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. And I have a good sense of self. I know what I want in my life. I know what I value. I know what I don't value. And I have a great sense of who I am and what I like and what I don't like. And I think it's really important to get that. When you've got people who don't really know what they want in life and it's very wishy-washy, how can you possibly know that they really want you for who you are and like you for who you are, when they don't even know themselves who they are and what they want? I hope that's just making sense. So I would really encourage you to try and assess how they are. So like I said, there was one person I get on really well with, but I've seen him gossip about other people at a meetup. Right? Now I know that gossiping's not good. I can't tell that guy secrets. I can't have him as a close friend because I can't share secrets with him, because it'd be all over the place. He'd be telling everyone, because that's what gossips do. He can't keep a secret. He gossips, and he loves sex, which is 3 things I'm not interested in. But actually, when I talk to him, I get on really well with him. So you could say, I class him as a bit more than acquaintance because I've known him for longer now. But I can't say he's a full-blown close friend or anything like that, because I know his values are not the same as mine. I don't value a person who goes around gossiping behind other people's backs. I don't value a person who is, when I say he's interested in sex, I mean he's interested in getting women pregnant. So it's not just like sex. It's like he doesn't mind if he's got different women and different babies by different women, stuff like this. That's something that I don't like personally. So it's not just the fact he likes sex, he likes it in a way that is just very irresponsible. Do you know what I mean? If he gets women pregnant, he doesn't care, basically. So it's very irresponsible, in my opinion. And so that's where our values differ, right? But when I actually see him, I get on well with him. I can talk to him really well. So I think you have to decide what what class of friendship you want with that person. Is it just like an acquaintance, which is not actually a proper friendship? It's more like just someone you see and get on well with in chatting and passing, or is it like you want to develop a friendship where you can actually spend some time with this person outside of a group? Do you know what I mean? And how much do you want to see them in your life? Do you know what I'm saying? So I want you to like think about these things and take them on board, and know that it is hard to make friends as an adult, because, you know, we don't want to come off as like weird or creepy or anything like that. But if you actually go to meetups specifically where people are adults trying to make friends, you know that everyone's in the same boat. They're specifically looking for friendship, because that's what the meetup's all about. That's why I love the meetup that is to do with friendship, because it's specifically, the whole host writes all of it down. Like they say, it's really difficult to make friends as an adult, especially in the digital age where everyone's like looking at their screen, makes people more isolated and lonely. So this group is specifically to make friends and connect with like-minded people and to forge, you know, friendships and stuff. And I think that's just amazing. So try and get meetup groups where the host is really good. They're very welcoming. They're very inclusive. And do you know what I mean? Take it from there. But you know, I know some places they do like if you're much older, like, you know, like you can have like bus tours or something for a certain age group, you know, to make friends and stuff like that. And, you know, there can be groups for companionship and stuff like that. Just make sure it's actual companionship. When I talked to this guy tonight, he said it's very difficult because he's tried sites that are meant to just be for friendship, and they haven't been for friendship. They've been wanting more than friendship. I said, yeah. If you've got a dating site that says it's for friendship, it usually isn't just for friendship. It's usually friends with benefits, even though they say it's for friendship. Because he said he tried Bumble Friends and he realised it wasn't friendship that people were after that. I'm like, no, usually, even like, for example, Facebook dating, when it says got a friends tab, people there that click friendship, they still want a relationship usually, because it's on a dating app. And so they're looking for, you know, more than friends. And it's basically friends with benefits. Even though they don't say that, they make out as friendship. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's very important to distinguish between the difference and genuinely like look for people who really do just want to be friends. If you're going to a dating site, then it's ambiguous, isn't it? You don't know if they're looking for just friendship all day. If they just specifically on a dating site and it just like they've just tagged dating or relationship, then you know that they're not looking for just friendship. But even when on a dating site where they say looking for friendship, some people like know that friendship is the foundation for a relationship anyway, so they might still want a relationship even if they just put friendship. It's much better to go to sites that are just specifically for friends only. Do you know what I mean? And if it's a dating site with a friendship component, usually it's friends, meaning friends with benefits, not really just friendship. I hope that makes sense. So, oh, sorry, I'm missing some comments. Olivia, thank you, Sandra. I've been saying your full name so you can look at the comments. Oh, thank you. The comments haven't been going up. Pink, I love your channel. Oh, thank you. Do they have one for my age? And you know my age? I don't think so. I think Meetup has to be, I can't remember if it's 16 years or older or 18 or older. They have to, it's definitely not in your age group for meetup.com. You have to be either, I don't know if it's 16 or 18. I looked at the rules the other day. So, yeah, they definitely don't have anything like that for kids, not on meetup.com. Sorry, I haven't been able to see the messages. They haven't been coming up. It's just been stuck. Heather says gross. That's what that sounds. Yeah. Hi, Heather. So, yeah. So, Olivia says she's going to check her school website. Yeah, they might have something on your school website to meet friends and stuff like that. Heather, I'm just watching Sandra. Interesting subject tonight. Also, I'm hanging with my... Oh, Heather's got a dog called Milo. Best type of friendship. A person and their dog. Yeah, so... yeah, so they're probably... The pregnant part was gross. Oh, thank you for confirming that. Yes, yes. So I wasn't going to be specific, but then I thought I may as well be specific, because people might think on this channel, oh, you know, you're against people who like sex. I'm not against people who like sex, but I am against guys. You know, I don't know how to say against, but I'm not for guys who have sex with women and don't care if they get them pregnant or not. You know, I don't like that type of attitude. I just think it's really bad, you know? So yeah, it is very gross. But I thought I'd better be more specific because I don't want people thinking, oh, she just doesn't like people who like sex. No, like, I don't mind. I don't mind being friends with people who are heterosexual so long as they don't want sex with me. And they're respectful. Clearly that guy is not very, you know, I don't find that very respectful towards women when it's like he's fine if he gets them pregnant or not. I don't think that's very good. Personally, I don't think that's very good, you know? So, that's why I can't, you know, he's even said to me, oh, we're friends, aren't we? But I can't actually say to him we're friends. I said, well, you're more than an acquaintance because I know you more, but you know, I can't say I'm friends with him, can I? Because it's just not my value system. Do you know what I mean? I kind of want to say you're not my value system, but I don't really know how to say it in a nice way. But yeah, so, you know, whatever that person's value system is, if the values don't align with yours, then you can't really be really good friends with someone. You could still, like, this person goes to a lot of meetups I go to and I get on well with them, so it's not like I'm gonna like completely like shun them, but do you know what I mean? I can't be close friends with someone like that because I'm fiddling with elastic band tonight. I don't know why, sorry. I just noticed I keep looking it down. If you wonder, it's an elastic band I'm playing with. I don't know why I'm playing with an elastic band tonight. I'm distracting myself. Why am I doing that? It's weird. So yeah, maybe because I'm talking about sexual stuff, guys liking sex, and it makes me feel a bit weird. But yes, so make sure that your value system aligns if you can. Like, I think one of the worst things is if you've got very different values, whether that's in a relationship or friendship, because if you've got such different values that are opposing, in the end, you know, you're really going to rub each other up the wrong way, probably. And, you know, it depends. If they're an acquaintance, like if they're just someone you've met at a meet up and you just see them with a bunch of other people, you can't stop them going to meetups, right? So if you don't want to see that person ever, then you can't go to that meetup, right? Because if they're going to be there, they're going to be there. You can't control other people's behavior, right? And you could get on well with someone in a social setting, but know that you don't want anything closer with them. You don't want to be close friends to them because of their behavior or their value system. Do you know what I mean? So you have to take all these things into consideration and don't put yourself down thinking, oh, I can't get anyone to be my friend just because I'm a certain age, because that's not true. Right? I mean, even in the Love Life Club, which is to do with relationships and dating, there's people who are older, you know, people over 50, like in their 60s and stuff, that still have to restart their life over again and find someone for a new relationship. I can't dive into any details about that because obviously it's confidential in the Love Life Club. But I just want you to know there are people that have to start over again when they're in their 60s because the relationship they had has not worked out for them. So equally, if you're an adult, you know, sometimes you have to start your friends over again. Like, obviously, as people get older, friends die as well, don't they? And some people die young, you know what I mean? So no one knows what's going to happen. Heather, his values sound bad for sure. There are some men that believe in vasectomy, which respect those types of men. Yeah. Yes. Yes, his values, this guy's values are, he doesn't care if he gets a woman pregnant. He gossips about people. And I can't remember what the third thing was. Which if he's gossiping about other people, he's going to go, oh, you can't tell him secrets because obviously he gossips. So these are three things that for me are like, even though I get on well with him, as in talking to him, and he did actually, you know, I feel safe around him to a certain extent with myself around him, but I know that he's not a good guy in that way. You know what I mean? His values are just nothing like my own. So obviously I can get on okay with people, get on well in talking to people who are very different to my values. But at the end of the day, I could not consider him as friend. Gossip is bad. Yeah, it's very bad, Heather. It's a very, very big red flag. And obviously not caring gets women pregnant is also a big red flag. But yeah, gossiping is very bad because if someone's gossiping about other people to you, they're going to gossip about you behind your back. So this guy was actually being really bad about so I went with him to a meetup once. He invited me to a meetup because I do get on really well with him. So he invited me to another meetup once because I happened to see him, and he invited me to a meetup once. So I went to a meetup with him, and it was a different meetup. So he was introducing me to some new people, and it was there that I found out he was a really big gossip, and he was even saying stuff that wasn't very nice about the guest speaker. And so he invited me to an event, but he was actually very downplaying the speaker and being very rude, I felt, about them, and gossipy about the speaker not being good. And I'm thinking, why have you invited me to an event when you don't even like the speaker, and you're basically putting the speaker down and talking badly about them? It's a bit weird, but he invited me as his guest there, so you know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a bit weird. It's like I feel safe with him enough to even walk me home, but I know, you know what I mean, but I don't feel like you know, these values are completely different to mine. I just don't like it, you know, because I said to him once before about getting women pregnant. He's like, oh, well, it's better than being bored, isn't it? And I'm like thinking, oh my Lord, jeez. Do you know what I mean? So you have to use your discernment. Obviously, if you're in a group of people, you're mixed with loads of different people. You can't stop who attends. And I do happen to get on well with this person, but it's just, you know, these values are completely ridiculous, in my opinion. They're not my values, and they're not good values. So I think when you are talking to people, you can only find these out when you spend some time with the person, like in a group setting. Do you know what I mean? He needs a new hobby. Laugh out loud. Jerry definitely needs a new hobby. That's what I think. I agree with you totally. But I mean, at the moment, he's got kids by 2 different women at the moment. I don't know if, I think that's the only, I think he's only got 2 kids by different women at the moment. I don't know if he's got more as well tucked away. But yeah, but there was a woman that was interested in him, and he didn't realise, and I told him she was like trying to invite him back to her place. He's like, oh, I don't pick up on social cues. I said, but unless you got contraception, yeah, because she clearly wanted sex with him. I said, unless you got contraception, that'd be no good. He goes, oh, I said, because you wouldn't want to get her pregnant. He's going, oh, it'd be better than being bored. And I was like, absolutely gobsmacked inside my head, thinking, oh my God. So yeah, so you've got to like understand that if your value system is very different to another person's, you're likely, well, I mean, you can get on, but in the end, it's probably not going to end well. And if the values are so different, like those clearly are, it's not a good thing. Do you know what I mean? It's hard because this person really wants me to say they're my friend as well, because I got on so well with them. And they have walked me home before, I'll be honest about that. But because I feel it's safe enough for them to walk me home, it's weird. But yeah, so it's hard as well. You know, they know I'm asexual. I make that clear, and there's absolutely no way I would entertain anything like that from them. So yeah, you got to be very careful though, obviously. Luckily, I'm quite good at looking after myself, but I say just make sure that, you know, you find out what people's values are, but sometimes you don't find out their full values for a very long time. This is why I say it's very good if you can go in a group setting, because like, for example, the guy who I met up with tonight on his own, who I'm just having a friendship with, I felt he's quite shy around women, and he admitted that to me across the table. He said that he's shy, and particularly because he's married and he's literally just looking for friendship, and a lot of women take it the wrong way. So Heather, the bad guy, he sounds like a piece of artwork. Yes, the guy, going back to the previous guy, he's not got very good values in my opinion. Yes, he's a acquired taste, let's say that. It's really weird because it's a shame he's like that. I mean, I just don't think he's got a good sense of self, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? I think he's probably more of a chameleon, from what I understand about him. And he's not really into self-improvement at all. I've had a conversation with him about something once, and it was clear that you know, like you can't have conversations with him about anything that might need improving in a connection, for example, because I tried that once with him before, because we did end up going to pub together once, and I talked to him about one of the things I wasn't happy to do with so I think it was a gossiping actually, or something like that. I brought it to his attention. There's something that I didn't think was good about his behavior at that pub. I don't know if it was a gossiping or something else or something similar. And oh yeah, I think it was a gossiping. It was something like that. I think I said it was not nice of him to put the speaker down, and he said, oh, it wasn't me, it was my mate. And I'm like, but you were there, and you continued the conversation, putting the person down. I just don't think that's very good, and then he got quite defensive over that. So I know he's not the type of person that manners are more important to me. Exactly. I know he's not the type of person that takes feedback well as well. I mean, the feedback I was giving him was genuine feedback. I was saying I felt uncomfortable, I didn't feel good, that I didn't think it was good when he was basically slagging the speaker off or something. He was like not speaking very good about the speaker. But instead of taking accountability and saying, you're right, I shouldn't have done that, I see the error of my ways, or, oh, I didn't realise that, or thank you for pointing that out about me, he immediately said it was his friend's fault. And that was all to do with his friend, he was his mate. And I'm like, and then he's like, and then I said something else to him. He goes, I feel defensive now. So I had to let the subject drop, because obviously I don't, although I felt safe enough with him to take me home. I literally, if he's feeling defensive, I don't know what his manner could end up being like. So he said he was feeling defensive, which is good. He verbalised that. He didn't say, it wasn't being aggressive. He just says, I feel defensive, which is a good response, because he's telling me how he feels. But it means that he's not going to want to progress. He's not going to want to grow in a connection. And he's not going, he doesn't take accountability for his actions in that way. Do you know what I mean? Irresponsibility in some way. So clearly I can't be close friends with him because of these things. You know what I mean? It just can't happen, because it's just not good for me. And it's just completely different values. I don't think he realised how much different values we have. But it's the type of person that's really not going to take feedback very well. Do you know what I mean? Which is valid feedback. The fact he blamed it on his mate is not good, And so, yeah, I think he's the type of person that's more of a chameleon. Like I said, changes to whoever's around him. And doesn't have a great sense of stability in himself, if you know what I mean. So I think it's really important that when you're making friends, to try and make friends with people who have got a good sense of self, who understand themselves well, who are able to self-reflect and able to deal with conflict. Conflict resolution is really important. So I thought that the best friendships, which is my ignorance, I thought the best friendships were like avoiding conflict. I've since found out they're not. And when I've been in Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club for over a year now, it's all about the best relationships, like how to deal with conflict resolution, how to resolve conflicts. And from like what I'm learning, I find it hard to bring up difficult conversations, but I did in the past with, a former connection. I did it a lot. I've done it a lot over the past, since I've been in Matthew's Love Life Club for over a year now. But that wasn't easy for me, because I don't like conflict myself, but I know that I've got to bring up difficult topics. Obviously, there's ways you can bring it up. So, yeah. Oh, Olivia. That's really sweet. So I really, say that if you see someone in a setting and you see them a few times, then it can be good, because you engage what their personality is like and if they have the same values as you or not. And I think, especially as you are an adult rather than a kid, I think values matter even more and more and more. Because if I look back at my childhood, I mean, it does apply to childhood as well. Like, I wish I probably understood values more before. So, Olivia says she's listening to me while she's putting a little cousin in the bath. That's so sweet. Thank you. Big kisses for you both. Community, friendship, kisses, and sending love. So yeah, I think you've got to see what the values of the person are. But, sometimes I think you can gauge a person quite well from the attitude and the feeling you get from them. And the rest of the time, you've got to, see them in situ. Sometimes you can see red flags straight away. I find it hard sometimes, because I can see red flags really quickly sometimes these days. I remember one time I was able to see red flags in 3 different people in one after the other nearly in meetup people. And I'm like, oh my God. Red flag, red flag, red flag. I'm like, it's hard, but it's good to have that ability, but it's also difficult. But I think when I remember when I was a teenager and kid more, I didn't I didn't really think about values so much. And I think, you're more into having fun and just gelling. But I know now that actually the friendships I had, even when I was at school, I didn't have many friends at all. But the only like odd one I did have, do you know what I mean? They weren't like proper true friends. So someone who's not a true friend, let's just go through that. Someone who's not a true friend is someone who doesn't respect you, someone who is not curious about you. It's all about them and their life and themselves. Someone who is not really engaged in conversation with you, they're just going through the motions. Someone who makes just small talk and doesn't really want to know anything deeper about you. These are all, I mean, surface level conversations are fine in just a group setting. You know what I mean? That's fine. And sometimes surface level is what you have when you first meet someone, because that's all some people just have surface level conversations to begin with. But if you're looking for something deep with friendship, you need to find out a bit more about what they're interested in, their hobbies, their interests, what they like, what they don't like. Do you know what I mean? It's okay to have surface level conversations, but when you're progressing a friendship, you want it to actually progress. So just like a relationship, you want an actual friendship ideally to progress, or at least stay the same, but hopefully see some improvements in your communication, in your bonding and stuff like that. So I was trying to say that I used to think avoiding conflict was good, but now I realise it's not good, because we have to be able to resolve conflicts in friendships. Because if we can't resolve conflicts, then that's when we end up not being good friends. So it's really interesting, because this guy brought this up tonight, actually. He goes, oh, I know what to say to you now if we have an argument. I'm like, an argument? Like, we've only just got friends. And he's like, no, but these happen with friendships. But that was an actual good thing he said. Because he's already thinking ahead, like, I'd like to be friends with this person. I want a friendship long term with this person. And I know if I upset the person in the future, I want to know how to resolve that thing with the person. I mean, the thing he suggested is not actually probably what would resolve it at all. But I think that was him wishful thinking. But what I'm saying to you is, it was good that he even acknowledged that friends do. He said, well, friends do fight, they do fall out. And I think that was important of him to acknowledge that. So I know he's now a type of person that's not going to just say things to please me and to placate me. He's going to say what he likes. And then if he upsets me or I upset him, he's going to say something to try and rectify the friendship. Heather, I'm curious about people. Olivia, yeah, other people are weird. Not you or Sandra, and I don't know, it's nice. Oh, thank you, Olivia. Yeah, it's kind of really difficult, when you're trying to make friends as an adult, because I think all people come with a lot of baggage. We all come with pasts when we're adults, I mean, we've got a lot of history, and I think history does have actual implication on your present and future. But what I'm learning now is to try different things. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone and try something different, as in try and be friends with someone who maybe you wouldn't be friends with otherwise, or I'm trying to have friendships that are not necessarily going to last forever. Do you know what I mean? So instead of being like, oh, I really want a friendship to work forever or years to come, I'm now at the moment I'm taking a chilled stance. Like, I get on well with this person. I want to see them again as a friend. I felt good around them. But do you know what I mean? But it's good to feel that way, because it's good. I know that if this person might not be in my life for long, necessarily. Do you know what I mean? And that's okay. Do you know what I mean? As long as I feel valued and respected. Olivia, it's hard making friends for me now because of your ADHD and autism and your social anxiety. It must be difficult for you. I think, well, ADHD, I think, it depends how it affects you, because it can affect different people in different ways. I mean, people who have got ADHD, obviously, disabilities, mental health conditions, special needs, they all have an impact. I have mental health difficulties and physical disabilities, so that does make an impact. So I when I'm talking, I'm still bringing it up in conversation, so the person's aware of some of the difficulties I have, but I'm trying to remain neutral about it. This is who I am, and I'm I'm not going one way or the other. Do you know what I mean? Like, I told this guy I see a therapist because I said because I said I had a relationship that didn't end well last year, and that's when I needed to see a therapist. I felt I needed to see a therapist, but I had to have a 6-month wait to get on. Well, I was on the waiting list for 6 months to see this therapist. I said, but I also have anxiety as well. I said I really believe that if you exercise your physical body, then you should be exercising your mind, like with a therapist. I see it as that. I see it as a therapist as mental exercise, to be honest. I think it's very healthy. So, I think if you've got any difficulties, if you can put a positive slant on it, be realistic, but put a positive slant on. If you genuinely, obviously still be true to yourself. Like, I genuinely believe therapy is good. There's so many stigmatized. There's so many stigmas about it. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many people who have myths and stuff about therapy. Right? Therapy is good if you're using it the right way. I know some people go to therapy and not even doing the actual hard work of what therapy takes to change your life and to make yourself a better person. They're just going through the motions. They're not actually wanting to improve themselves. You know what I mean? They just go there for a badge of honor to say I've done therapy. That's not what therapy's about. Therapy should be used in the right way. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so I think when you have got ADHD, autism, and social anxiety, I think it's very important to make people aware of that. You know what I mean? Because they'll sense something's different about you. I know autistic people. I've got an autistic. Minkyu comes on here. He obviously, we were open about the fact when we did the interview together in January that he's autistic, right? So he's autistic, and so he's my friend. I think if you I personally think it's good to be upfront about that. Some people don't agree, but I think it is, and I tend to be able to understand if someone's autistic without them even telling me. A lot of the time I can sense that they're autistic because obviously I know the traits of autism, especially as I've been around. I've had other friends in the past that are autistic as well, so I tend to understand. Obviously, I can't go around saying they're definitely something unless they say it themselves, because it's not up for me to decide what they are. But you know what I mean? I can usually tell if someone's autistic because they act and behave and talk differently and think differently usually. So I think it's important to be upfront. ADHD can affect people in different ways. Some people are aggressive with it, some people are non-aggressive with it. So it depends. Some people just have hyperactivity. And they're very hyper and into a ton of things, which can be very good. In your case, Olivia, with your ADHD, I'm sure it's very good for your YouTube channels because you're able to multitask and do lots of different things at once, and you're able to keep the energy up for doing YouTube consistently all the time, which someone with ADHD probably couldn't do that very much. You'll find out quite a lot of entrepreneurs as well have ADHD. Quite very famous people have ADHD, and they use it to their benefit. They're very creative. They can get a lot of stuff done. They can be very, very productive. So there's a lot of benefits to people who have ADHD. There's a lot of benefits to having it. I'm not saying everything's a benefit to having it. I've seen the downside of ADHD. I've actually been on the receiving end of someone who was very violent and aggressive with ADHD as well. One of my long-term exes had it, but he was aggressive with it. You know what I mean? Which not everyone is. So I think, you've got to obviously if anyone's got aggression problem with ADHD, they need to go to therapy and get that sorted out because it's not healthy for them or for another person. I just thought I'd put that out there on this channel. But you know what I mean? So you've got to decide how your ADHD affects you, but there can be many benefits to it as well. And autistic people often have a very special attribute, by their autism. They can be very into projects and stuff and very focused and excel in that way. So there are benefits to having these conditions as well as obviously disadvantages sometimes as well. Social anxiety makes it hard. If you've got social anxiety, I used to have really terrible social anxiety years ago, and I had to force myself to go and meet people and put myself in positions of being in groups of people, which was awful. And in groups of people now, I tend to go up to people and talk to them. So when I had really bad social anxiety, I used to always be sat at a table on my own, or sat next to people and not saying anything. I wasn't speaking to them because I was waiting for them to speak to me. And I thought, and because no one usually speaks to me, I'm like, oh, people don't want to talk to me. I'm not interesting to them. I'm really bad. I'm, like I must be really, people don't want to talk to me. I must be really bad or something because, well, I'm not really bad. I must be uninteresting to people and people don't care about me. That's what I used to think. Oh, people clearly don't care. But I had to change my mindset and do the opposite. And I had to go out and actually approach people. So now when I'm at meetups, I usually specifically go and approach people. But the only disadvantage to that is I'm usually the one that ends up doing most of the talking quite a lot. So I have to like go and approach people now and talk to them, but see how much they talk back to me. Like, do they ask me questions about myself? Are they genuinely interested in knowing more about me? Are they genuinely interested in knowing what I have to say? So some people with autism can find it difficult to understand social cues, and they can find it difficult to ask questions. But one of the skills I highly recommend you learn, if you haven't got this already, Olivia, is to ask questions. Like, work out and find out how to ask people questions and appropriate questions, and how to, like, I mean, you're fine in chat here. Do you know what I mean? So I think you're good at talking and understanding things. But I would say, like, if you do have any difficulties, like, because friendship's like a two-way thing, make sure you ask in person, as well. Ask people about themselves as well. Because I think some autistic people can forget to ask the other person about them because they're not used to asking questions. So I think that's a skill that can be learned. And you can always get a bunch of questions off the internet and say, oh, what would be good icebreakers or deal breakers? So yeah, if you're worried about like what to talk to people about, there's a lot of, you can type into Google like questions to ask someone if you've just met them, topics to talk about to ice break with people. Heather, you have to pick and choose your battles in conflicts. Being assertive is a good thing. Keep learning every day is very important. Olivia, in October, I'm going on holiday to Blackpool with my parents. Oh, I've been to Blackpool. I love Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Are you going to the Pleasure Beach? Although I have been on the 250-foot roller coaster and I was crying. I went with an ex. And I was crying. I didn't really want to go on it. But they were like going, oh, they were kind of like, well, they weren't good really. They were kind of like wanting me to go on it, but basically pressurizing me to go on it in a really bad way. Like trying to guilt trip me if I didn't. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm going with people to theme park now, if they want to go on a ride that I don't want to go on, I'll just say, you go on and I'll wait for you. I don't get guilt tripped anymore, but one of the exes was guilt tripping me that I needed to go on with him. So I usually go on my own to theme parks quite a lot of the time, but if I do go with anyone, it's like, you can go on that, I'll sit this one out, or I'll go on a different ride while you're doing that one. Heather, I have been going to therapy and learning new things every day. Sentence structure is very important in life. Oh, that's really good, Heather. I didn't know you've been going to therapy. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. Olivia, last year I went to Coral Island. Wow. So I think if you've got disabilities or mental health conditions, it's very important to try and understand your mental health conditions, your disabilities, your special needs, understand how they affect you in both friendships, relationships, how you relate to and other people. I think it's very, very important to do this, because the more you're self-aware about how your conditions affect you and other people, the easier it will be to kind of express yourself and try and help your connections with people. Do you know what I mean? So, but if you've got social anxiety, one of the hardest things to do is actually go and approach people. But I'd highly recommend to go and approach people and break the ice with them, because I used to wait for people to break the ice with me all the time and just thought, well, clearly I'm not worth talking to because no one comes up to me. So now I go and talk to other people. But you have to like still weigh up, are people actively interested in you, or are you the one who's doing all the talking and approaching all the time? So you have to weigh up that, because you don't want to be the one who's just doing all the talking and all the approaching all the time. You want people to genuinely take an interest in you. Like when I went to the writing meetup yesterday, there's one guy I talked to for a very long time, an older guy, and he was really interested in me, my channel, my books, where I come from. We're having a nice chat for a long time, and that was really, really good. And it was good because there was equal chat back and forth. very easygoing with both of us, could speak our mind. Mental health psychiatric services. Heather, is that what you're saying that you are attending, or is it what you're recommending for other people? Because obviously different countries have different ways of doing things. So in the UK, you've got different people like specialists, psychotherapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. These are different professions. I see a psychotherapist at something called the Margaret Jackson Centre, which is a voluntary organisation actually. It's a charity in my city, so it has a long waiting list. And yeah, and they call them counsellors where I go, but he's actually a trained psychotherapist. So yeah, I hope you have a good time, Olivia. So I'd say, like, always get to know yourself better, because if you want to get into a friendship, you need to understand how your conditions affect you and the other person or other people. Because, like, I'm sure, like, probably tonight, the guy probably knew that I was a bit anxious by some of my behaviours. Because I think he was like, oh, it's fine, like, you don't have to show me that or go out of your way to tell me that. I think he just trusted me, basically. And so I'm like, oh, because it's like, for example, I just took a photograph of my food, and because he told me he doesn't usually do social media, I specifically made sure he wasn't in the photo. I didn't ask him if he wanted to be in the photograph. I just thought that it's better to, like, say that. He goes, oh, you don't need to show me, you don't need to tell me, it's fine, you're okay. So I think he knew that I was a little bit nervous and anxious about that, but I did say I have anxiety and see a therapist. So I think obviously it's important to understand that about yourself, but don't put yourself down with all your conditions or everything. Just understand how they affect you, how they probably come across to other people, and like, talk to people. Like, and I know this is a video about friendship, but in terms of a relationship, it's very important you ask the other person, like, how does your disabilities, mental health conditions, special needs, how do they affect you in a relationship? But you can also bring this up in friendship as well, but especially close friendships. But like, you need to be asking that question if it is a relationship scenario, like, how do your mental health conditions affect you? Like, how does your, like, if you are autistic, how does your autism affect you in the relationship? Because it's going to affect how you relate to other people. Wow, Olivia's going to Majorca next year. Wow. Oh, wow. That is, like, amazing. So yes, one of the ways you can meet people is by going on holiday and making friends. Heather, mental health psychiatric services. Oh, you joined it. How long have you been going to that, Heather? Are you finding it effective? It sounds like you are when you're saying you're learning something all the time. I think it's important, I'm a very big advocate of mental health practices and therapists. Do you know what I mean? I'm a very big advocate of it, because I don't believe that we can handle all our mental health problems on our own, because we have blind spots that we can't necessarily see. And sometimes we just need an impartial person that we can talk to, that's not family, not friends, not someone we know, someone we don't know as well. But obviously you want to get to know your therapist and hope that you'll be really, like, getting on well with them and they'll understand you. So when you are looking for friends as well, try and find someone who is understanding, who is compassionate. Never ever go and be in a friendship where someone puts you down for your disabilities or mental health conditions. Never be in a situation where a person makes you feel less than because of their because of your disabilities, mental health condition, or special needs. You don't want people to be making you feel bad about yourself or your mental health difficulties. Obviously, if you've got mental health difficulties that are aggressive to people or unhealthy to other people, then yeah, you need to work on that. And you can't, they're entitled to give you feedback. They're entitled to give you feedback and have difficult conversations and say, when you did this, you did that. But most of the time it should be driven more towards the behavior than any mental health condition you've got or disability or special need. It shouldn't really be the condition. It should be the behavior that they're addressing. that condition probably causes. Do you know what I mean? Because I have anxiety, so obviously that's going to affect the way I talk sometimes, the way I behave sometimes, the way I come across sometimes. So it's important I'm upfront about that as much as possible. So yeah, so always like try and understand yourself as best as possible. I think the people who are honest with themselves, thinking they're not perfect, they've got things to learn, and they'll never be perfect. Obviously, none of us are perfect. But I think, you know, if you've got a mindset attitude of working on yourself, trying to improve yourself, trying to get out of your comfort zone, like to make friends as an adult, you have to get out of your comfort zone. There's no doubt about it. If all you do is see the same people in the same places and do the same things, you're not going to make friends, usually. Because you're just saying the same people. Obviously, if those same people bring different people with them, that's a bit different. But you're not going to go and make friends if all you do is go to the same pub, for example, or the same place and see the same people and do exactly the same things. In order to make new friends, you've got to go out of your comfort zone, go to a different venue, go to a different place, meet different people, do something different. Heather, I do learn. Oh, bless you. I noticed that you've been watching quite a lot of videos lately to do with self-improvement. So I applaud you for that. It's really good. So, so yeah, I hope this is all making sense. That, you know, there's quite a lot of factors, but you have to get out of your comfort zone. If you do the same things over and over again in the same places with the same people, you're not going to meet any different people. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if you're going to meet up, though, that has different people going to it all the time, then obviously you can make friends. So in order to get out of the comfort zone, you have to either do something differently or be in, you know, do something differently basically means be in a different place, speak to different people, do a different thing. One of those three things, or all of the three together, is what you need to do to make friends as an adult. And you need to do that as well if you want to do dating as well. Like, go to different places, meet different people, do different things. Because if you're just doing the same thing over and over again with the same people, you're not reaching any new people. So you can't, you know, unless you happen to be really, like, you know, meeting people at the same place that end up becoming your really good friends by some, you know, coincidence, that's fine. But if you want to make new friends, you have to get out of your comfort zone and do things you wouldn't usually do. And it's hard because sometimes it'll be uncomfortable. But I have to say, if you go to meetup groups and you feel left out, you can give them another go. Oh, sorry, my phone nearly fell in. You can give them another try. But if it becomes like you feel like you're not appreciated there, not valued, not really wanted or needed, then go elsewhere. Right? Go where the energy is. Go where people lift you up. You should be going around places and people that make you happy, make you feel lifted up, energized, good about yourself, respected, valued, and appreciated. Because, do you know what I mean? That's what you want. You want people to uplift you. You don't want to be having people around you who are just dragging you down, dragging your energy down, who don't even believe in you, who don't value your worth, and who basically treat you like, you know, like you're not worthy. Right? You deserve people. I deserve people. You deserve people who value you, who respect you, who treat you with genuine kindness, not for an ulterior motive, who are compassionate and considerate, and who respect you and your feelings and want to talk to you and invest in you as much as you invest in them, who you feel like some reciprocity with and some friendship is equal. Not where it's an imbalance. If you have an imbalance in a friendship, it does take a huge toll on your mental health and it drains your energy. I talk from personal experience about this. Right? You can try and rectify the situation and explain to the other person how their behavioural actions make you feel. But if you keep feeling that it's just one-sided, then it's time to let it go, basically. So it's very interesting because I was having coaching the other day and the coach said that they noticed all of a sudden, that I had some friends, one or two friends, and those people never asked them any questions about themselves. It was just always them approaching them and asking them questions. And when they had the realization that their friends don't really ask them much about themselves, they thought, this is not like a reciprocal friendship. This is not someone who's vested and interested in me. Like, why am I doing all the work and just asking them questions? So they left those friendships. And I think this is a very important thing. It's actually a red flag in dating if you're the one asking all the questions. Very big red flag. because it means the person's not really that interested in you. They're not really curious about you, right? So you have to remember this, and this applies to friendship as well. If you're the one asking all the questions all the time, then where's the investment from them? It just becomes one-sided. You may as well just stay at home and talk to yourself or talk to a mirror. Do you know what I mean? It becomes very energy draining when you're the one making the time, energy, and effort, and you're just asking them questions and being curious in them, and they're not really interested in you. That just feels like really devaluing. It feels energy draining. It feels like it just feels awful. I can't describe it. And Heather says always try new foods. Well, as I've got loads of food allergies and intolerances, that doesn't usually work very much with me often, because I have to go to the same places repeatedly, which is a bit boring to say the least. But in What Rock, where I went tonight, which I've been before, they did do me some different foods because they've improved their menu and they've improved the way they do things. Because the guy said, because I phoned up in advance, and the guy remembered me even though I haven't been there since nearly Christmas time. And I think it was just like after Christmas, something like that, around Christmas time. It's to celebrate my 1 million views on this channel, which I got just before Christmas. And so I still got pictures from that and my dish there. But basically, the food he did tonight, I let him know I was coming with a new friend. And it was really good because he got loads of ingredients. And he's like, oh, we cook everything in oil now. So they used to cook things in soy milk, but he says, oh, good news about your oil, we cook everything in oil now. And they did something, they've got a garlic and ginger paste which don't have sugar in them, so they were able to do garlic and ginger and lime for me. And they also did some coriander and something else. It was 2 different herbs, and it tasted absolutely delicious. I've posted a photograph of it on here on the post section. I've done a shorts video. Really delicious food. Really delicious. And I had a lovely big apple juice as well, pint of apple juice. It's really, really good. So I had a great time, delicious food. So I was able to have some new foods. But usually a lot of the time I can't have new foods because I have to have the same sort of thing. So I know that's a disadvantage to people who want to be my friend if it's to go out eating together. It's a huge disadvantage to them because I can only eat in set places. I can only eat in the same places. I mean, we could go to different places to eat and I just have a drink where they're eating and then they have a drink where I'm eating. So that is a compromise. But if you both want to eat at the same time in the same place, they've got to eat where I can eat as well, if you know what I mean. Because some of them, like the guy tonight who I met up with, he can eat pretty much nearly anything. I think the only thing he doesn't eat is beef, he said. Everything else he eats. So he's easy going. He can eat wherever, and he doesn't really like Nando's that much, which is like gutting for me because I really like Nando's. But it's nice to have a Chinese, well, it was Thai I had. It was nice to have a Thai meal tonight. So do you know what I mean? It was really, really nice. So the food was actually better this time I went than previous time. It was really, really delicious. And I felt like royalty because the guy remembered me as well. And it was all nicely displayed. And yeah, I really liked it. I know coriander was one of the actual herbs, but I don't know what the other one was. I can't remember what he said. So anyway, it's really nice. Might come back to me. I don't know. But yeah, so when Heather says I was trying new foods, if you've got loads of food allergies and tolerances like me, it makes it very difficult. As in, I've got so many. So like I can't have sugar, any refined sugars, glucose, sucrose, dextrose, lactose. No MSG, no gluten, no wheat, no spelt, no dairy, no yeast, no fermented stuff, no mushrooms. And it's like the list goes on and on and on and on. Oh my Lord. It's just a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. It's very difficult to eat anywhere. So that is why it's really difficult for me. But I agree that it's a good idea if you can to try new foods and go to new places as well for different foods if you can. And to go just a drink for different places. Even if you can't eat beforehand at home and then go out somewhere and just have a drink with someone, or just go to a bar for a drink, or go and you can meet different people there. Obviously in bars you're more likely to be looking to meet someone for a romance than a friendship. So that's not exactly where you'd usually go for friendship. Friendship groups are usually best, even online friendship groups as well, where you can form friends and then ask to meet up with them in person, like suggest that, you know, like talk to them in the group and then ask to meet up outside. You always have to abide by group rules though, because different people have different group rules. I have dating sites on, well, dating groups on Facebook, and people are like, I think people should be messaging people if they want to date someone in the group, because it's like, how else are you gonna ever talk to someone in the group? Some people in their groups, so in asexual groups, they're like, you've got to message and comment first, then ask if you can chat with them. Then if the person says yes, then you can chat with them. But I just think that's just going about it like, you know, it's like, it's just wishy-washy. Like, it's all around the houses. To me, it's like, if you like someone in a group, go and private message them. If they're not interested, they can block you or just say, I'm not interested, you're not my type, or move on. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Heather says, I would we eat anything. Well, you're so lucky. You have a huge advantage like that then. You're lucky. Very, very lucky. Oh, I can't eat sandwiches. Can't eat any dairy. I can't even eat some berries because I'm allergic to them. I can't eat apples, even though I can have apple juice. Can't have big tomatoes, can only have cherry tomatoes, can't have mushrooms at all, can't have brewed or fermented stuff, don't drink alcohol. So yeah, I can't have buffets usually unless there's a bit of fruit there. And fruit I'm not allergic to. So grapes I can't have either at all. So yeah, it's hard. But yeah, if you can get out to eat at different places and eat different things, then it is good to do that. You know, you can bond with different people. Mutant Max said hi. Hello, Mutant Max. So yeah, I do agree that, you know, if you can eat different foods, I can go to different places, but you can maybe meet a friend somewhere that you go and eat that's different. But I would say, you know, it's hard because as an adult, people can get the wrong impression if you're looking for friendship and they're looking for more than friends. Because a lot of people as adults, they're married, they're paired up, they're already partnered. And so if you're sat on your own and they're sat on they're sat on their own and you're sat on your own and you start talking, you know, people could take it the wrong way that you're interested in them, like chatting them up or wanting to date them rather than friendship. So I think it's easier if you go in groups that specifically friendship. I have an asexual friends group, for example. So if people want to make friends in there, I would expect them to be chatting to each other, which I probably need to be in my groups a bit more because I've had a lot of stuff to do. But I've been getting out more recently. So in order to help myself to heal, I've been getting out more and, you know, doing different social groups and pushing myself to do those things. I've been pushing my body to like do more exercise, to be more physically stronger. I've been doing more social stuff, but it's helped me loads going out socializing again, because I'm actually an extrovert, and being around people has been really healthy for me, even if, you know, even if not every person's suitable to my friend. And I've actually, because I was feeling quite scared a lot of the time, because if you didn't know, like at the beginning of this month, like I had to like leave a toxic connection, and it was unexpected. It ended in toxicity unexpectedly. I had to walk away from it. So it's been difficult, you know. I'm having to like go through a grieving process, heal and stuff. And I, you know, I'm trying to like, you know, like calm my nervous system down from being in fight or flight for quite a long time as well, with a lot of trauma I've had. So I was feeling good early because I was doing loads of exercise before I went out. I was listening to music, doing a bit of jumping up and down, dancing in my home. And I did a lot of tricky movements, which means I'm getting my flexibility back again, which has been sadly lacking before. And so I was in a really good mood to meet this person. So that's one thing I would say, is if you're going to meet friends, make friends, try beforehand to put yourself in a very good frame of mind, and to try and put yourself in an energetic, good vibration state if you can. Because if you're not, people do feel it. I have been to meet up before and I know I haven't been in a good frame of mind or vibe, and I know then people will less likely want to talk to me. Obviously, you can't always be in a good frame of vibe. You just can't, you know, and you need to get out. You need to get out. But you're going to have someone who's more receptive to you and people who are more receptive to you if you actually put yourself in a higher vibration state to start off with. You know, if people feel you're good energy for them, they're going to want to be around you more. So you can't always be good energy, obviously, but you know, it's very important. First impressions do make an impression. So if you can, put yourself in a good mindset beforehand, do something relaxing. Today I've been like trying to calm my nervous system down more. I felt more calm in myself, which has been really amazing. I think once you've got out of a toxic situation, initially it can be really hard and devastating and shocking and really upsetting, and it's a long grieving process. It just doesn't happen overnight. But I think like giving yourself time and space and trying to calm your own nervous system down, just say I'm safe and keep repeating the words I'm safe, and going out, socializing again, and forcing myself, if you like, to make sure I'm going out more has been really beneficial, because instead of waking up feeling sad and upset and like, oh my God, what's going to happen if I'm on my own, blah, 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 I've actually been actively making sure I'm not going to be on my own, and making sure that I know I'm strong enough to be on my own and meet people, regardless of whether my friends or not, or whoever I meet. Just by going out and having the strength in my body and trying to get my body stronger is making me feel better. So instead of feeling scared, and I feel scared because obviously I've got osteopenia, in case you didn't know that. And no, I don't have any markers for it. I am under 50. I haven't gone through menopause yet. I still have regular periods. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't take drugs that all lower bone density. In case you didn't know, caffeine lowers bone density. Vitamin D levels fine, calcium fine, no history of osteopenia or osteoporosis in my whole family, so it's quite a mystery as to why I've got it. But yeah, it sucks because I'm more susceptible to breaking bones in my body, so that makes exercising difficult because you get scared to exercise in case you break a bone. And but if you don't exercise, it weakens your bones, so it's just an ever increasing cycle. And now I don't have any, well, I do have a new in-person friend now, but as the last in-person friend I had, became toxic and I had to walk away from that situation, I basically had no in-person friends. And so, but I was willing to do that for myself, because it's better to walk away and have no one than to have toxic people in your life and people who are not who they have portrayed themselves to be, right? So, so that's good, and I needed to calm my nervous system down. But because I've had a number of weeks on my own, because this happened on the 1st of August, and now we're at the end of August, I've kind of had like nearly a month now to calm myself down a lot. But just getting out to these meetups, I haven't been waking up feeling unsafe anymore. I woke up today feeling like, wow, I'm like feeling like my body's like relaxing more. I'm feeling safer in my own company and in my own body, in my own space. I'm finally feeling like I'm here, if you know what I mean, present. And I'm feeling like my nervous system is calming down, and I'm feeling more comfortable in my own home now again, and I'm feeling more centered in myself. Do you know what I mean? So I've been a whole month without having any friends. And I didn't know if this person was going to want to be my friend back or not, but they do. And so far it's been a healing experience for me, because I don't want to think that I'm unworthy of friendship when it's not me who behaved out of character and ended up being toxic. So why should I worry about that? And they the way that they were saying stuff is like I wasn't going to ever make it, the implication of them saying, oh, I don't want you to be alone, implies that I'm never going to make any new friends. And I had this realization actually in the shower. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, I had the realization. I went to get in the it was when I went to get in the shower, and it just like suddenly dawned on me. I remembered the person's words, and they're like, not I'm really sorry that I treat you that way, and taking accountability and responsibility in that moment. And do you know what I mean? And worry, being concerned they were going to lose me as a friend, that wasn't at all the thing, right? They said they still wanted to be my friend, but obviously I'm not going to be their friend when they've overstepped my boundary, and they knew that anyway. They already knew that. I think they were just going through the motions. But I remember something they said, which was very telling. When people say stuff, they tell you a lot, even if they don't say much. So when this person said, I don't want you to be alone, that sounds like someone who pitied me, not someone who was genuinely my friend. If you're friends with someone, you wouldn't want to lose that friendship. You wouldn't go, oh, I worried, I don't want you to be alone. You wouldn't even think that way. You'd be like, you know what I mean? You'd be like, if you genuinely cared about them as a friend, you wouldn't want to lose their friendship. And the implication is that I'm not going to make any new friends. Why wouldn't I make new friends? Why? There's nothing actually wrong with me. The only thing that's wrong is the fact that that person didn't value me anymore, basically, and underestimated me. I think devalued me, underestimated me, and wasn't really showing me his full true colours, if you like, and not being honest. So That's not on me. That's on him. I was consistent. I was honest. I had difficult conversations numerous times. Even though it's really hard and uncomfortable for me to do that, I tried to save the friendship. I knew something had changed, like, a couple of years ago, but they were denying it. So, you know what I mean? It's like, well, that's got nothing to do with me making new friends. You know what I mean? I'm worthy of friends, and the implication that it's a bit like when someone's like not good for you, not a healthy person, which this person wasn't in the end for me, and they're acting like only you won't have any more friends when I've left your life, 'cause, you know what I mean? It's a put down. It's very subtle mind manipulation thing, whether it's intentional or not. Do you know what I mean? It's putting the thought in your head that you're gonna be alone for the rest of your life without this person. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, no, I'm not going to be alone for the rest of my life because I'm a sociable person. I like talking to people. I have value. Why, I just need to get better friends that are really invested in talking to me and like asking me questions like I like asking them questions, and are curious about each other and get more reciprocity in my friendships going forward, rather than one-sidedness and people doing things for a transactional reason. You know what I mean? Rather than genuine care, which is what I've learned. I'm like, oh, I see the transactional stuff this now, and obviously the subtle, either intentional or unintentional manipulations like that. Putting it in my head that I don't want you to be lonely implies that I'm never ever going to make any more friends. And that's not something a true friend would say anyway. They'd be caring about the loss of the friendship. Not that take pity on someone. Do you know what I mean? That's not a friendship. That means you just see me for pity or whatever. Why do you need to pity me? Like, because you don't value me. Anyway, and obviously you don't have high regard for me. So, you know what I mean? So I came to that realization, and I think that's really helped me. I'm like, well, I just remember my past exes, for example, in relationships. When you've got a really toxic person, like a narcissistic person, and they put you down, making you feel you're not going to get any more friends or any more, well, in terms of like romantic relationship, you're not going to get anyone else to be in a relationship with you ever because you're so bad. And it's a mind control and manipulation screw up, basically. They're trying to screw with your mind. Like, you're so bad, there's so much wrong with you, you're not going to get anyone. So basically, you've got to stay with me in the relationship because you can't get anyone better than me. Because you'll never get anyone because you're not good enough. That's the message it's sending to your subconscious brain, right? And people who are intentional narcissists, proper narcissists, and abusers, they know what they're doing when they put this in your head, right? So I'm not saying, I don't know whether this person was doing it intentionally or unintentionally, right? But it's still a mind, it's still, I mean, when they're saying that, it tells though, doesn't it? It tells 1,000 stories, just those words, like, I don't want you to be alone. That whole sentence just tells 1,000 stories. Like, one, oh, it's pity then, right? You're actually seeing me because you pity me, not because you actually genuinely want to be my friend. You think that I'm never ever going to have any more friends or people caring about me in my life. Do you know what I mean? Why? Because you devalue me. You don't see my worth anymore. Do you know what I mean? That's what basically it equates to. But they didn't say those words. But by saying just those few words, they've told me everything. And I'm like, nah, now I see. You just helped me because you pitied me. Felt sorry for me. Was that it? Do you know what I mean? So I think you've got to use your discernment what people say to you, right? And you've got to understand the either intentional or unintentional things they're saying in their words to you, right? Because it can affect you. So when I came to this realization, I'm like, damn it, they think by this time I'd already connected as a friend to this person anyway. Before we met up for a meal, I'd already said that I wanted a friendship with them, and they said with me. So this was after I thought about it. This was after we exchanged numbers, yeah, and was meeting up. We'd already planned to meet up, but I was just going in the shower, and it was before the writing meetup, and I was just like, wow, I didn't see that before, but now I see it, because it's amazing that when you've come out of a toxic situation, you're able to reflect back and see what they were doing subtly with your mind. The little things they said over time, how it corroded your confidence, corroded your self-esteem in your self-esteem, how it did your mindset in not good ways, right? To make you feel less than you are. It's just those subtle things, right? And it's only when you like look back at all different patterns and different things that went on that you can actually see it for what it is. You can't see it in the time because obviously you try and like understand someone. And you're trying to understand, if you're carrying a kind and empathetic person, you're trying to understand the other person. So you're not really focused on so much about what they're doing to you. In your mind, you're more well, because I'm anxious attachment, I'm more preoccupied with the other person a lot of the time, which obviously is a more negative thing for an anxiously attached person. An anxiously attached person gets very preoccupied with trying to make sure things are okay in a friendship or relationship. But if that person, the other person, is not equally invested in that way, it can also feel very one-sided. But also you can be very focused on the other person and, you know, not realize what's happening with yourself that may be a negative effect on you. You know, it is, you know, there are things that's difficult with an anxious attachment because, you know, we can need extra reassurance sometimes. But I've changed quite a lot over the years. Like, I wasn't needing like all the reassurance like that from this person or anything like that. So, do you know what I mean? I liked a lot of contact and communication because I value that. You know what I mean? But obviously there are downsides to anxious attachment. But anxious attached people, the problem we have is we can get very preoccupied with making sure the other person's happy, then we can forget our own needs, or, you know, we're trying to make the friendship right and trying to, you know, worry about what the other person cares about, thinks about, and making sure they're all right. We can, you know, like kind of overlook our own needs, if you know what I mean. So Andy Ice Wello come. Ice welcome. Okay. Ice welcome. I don't know what that means. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's really, really important to look at what people say and, you know, what they say and how it makes you feel as well. So when you're meeting new people, always look at what they say and how it makes you feel. So this is including if you go to meetups. It's not just what they say, it's how they make you feel with what they say, if you know what I mean. So yeah, always look and at what they say, but how it makes you feel. And look at like any possible hidden meanings. Because so people, sometimes you meet people at meetups, right, and they can give you compliments, they give you backhanded compliments. That's a red flag. There was someone who was really red flagging at the meetup that I went to as well, the friendship one. But the organisers were aware of it. This person's behaviour has not been good with other people, and it wasn't good with me. But the organiser made sure I was out of that situation safely. So it's a shame, because they were like saying stuff like, well, they invited me back to their home, which is a huge red flag. Clearly, I'm there for friendship. I'm not there to go back and have sex with someone, and I don't have sex anyway because I'm asexual. I'm not interested in that. He knew that. I told him, you know, and he went and invited me back to his home. He kept going on about, I've got all these films at home with such and such a TV, and I'd like to ask you if you come home with me. I'm like, no. And then he was going on about, oh, but I'm really lonely. I'm very like, you know, I'm very like frustrated. I'm lonely, and I really need someone with me now. Like, this is not up to me to like go and make him have pleasure or whatever he wanted, because he's frustrated and got no one and he's lonely. I'm there for friendship. There's a friendship group. This is not a sexual group, right? So listen to what the person says and what they're saying. And he's like, oh, I'm different. I'm better than any guy here that you can find. Like, this is just red flag, red flag, red flag. And I did actually have to tell him that he's not my type, and that, you know, but he still wasn't taking no for an answer. So I had to say, look, it's not fair to you because you're not my type. It's not fair to you. You're better off finding someone around your own age that's got your own interests, because, you know, I'm interested in younger guys, and, you know, I'm not interested in a smoker either, and I'm not after sex, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's very, very important to to assess what these people say. So anything that's red flag, contradictions are red flag behavior. People say, people saying one thing and saying entirely something different. Both cannot be true. Do you know what I mean? People gossiping, we've already gone through that. People being dismissive. So if you say to them something about yourself and they just dismiss your feelings or dismiss something about you. Andy, I'm new to your channel. Can you please tell what is the purpose or meaning of this talk? I want to know for my knowledge. So the title of this talk, which is in the description of this video, which is nearly, it's nearly 2 hours long now. So I'm actually coming towards the end of it because I've been live streaming for 2 hours. So this is how to make friends as an adult, like it says. And I'm using my own experience to talk about how I'm healing through friendship. So, asexual, right? Asexual is a sexual orientation that's based on the lack of sexual attraction, and I'm asexual. So I don't get the need, urge, or want for partner sexual intercourse, but I am attracted to guys romantically, aesthetically, and in many other ways. So in this channel, I share my own asexual life journey in order to help other people in their own life journey. People who are not asexual are welcome here as well, so long as they're respectful. And, that obviously that is predominantly for asexuals, this channel. But I cover dating, relationships, confidence, self-love and self-care. And I also do entertainment vlogs, lifestyle vlogs as well. So I do a mixture of education, information, entertainment and lifestyle. But the live streams predominantly are mostly educational content. I do some live movie reviews, no sex movie reviews, because I'm not interested in sex. And a lot of asexuals want to find movies without sex in them. So I have a no sex movie review playlist. That's one of the top playlists that's watched on my channel. So yeah, I've got books out about asexuality. So this is Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, which is a great book if you're looking to date and get into a relationship. It's got a lot of life lessons in that you can apply to any types of relationship really in your life. Asexual Perspectives. So 47 asexual stories, love, life and sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. These are on Amazon. So if you want to know more about asexuality, go and grab yourself a copy of this because it explains all about asexuality, the different some of the different parts of the asexual spectrum. And it basically shows you the asexual spectrum in real life context rather than just giving you textbook definitions of it. It's got 46 asexuals I interviewed throughout the book on love, life and sex from an asexual point of view. And it also has got my own personal story in there. So yeah, it's a really good read because there's a lot of myths and stereotypes about asexuality. It's not the same as celibacy. It's not the same as abstinence because you're holding yourself back when you do that. Andy, so you mean that all type of people exist and you should understand and respect them and not judge them? I mean, people should be understanding and respectful. Yeah. Like so asexuality is another sexual orientation, just like heterosexuality is a sexual orientation, bisexuality is a sexual orientation, homosexuality is a sexual orientation, pansexuality is a sexual orientation, asexuality is a sexual orientation. So because I cover themes that relate to different types of sexualities here, then obviously people who watch this channel are not necessarily asexual. There's a lot of asexuals here. And yeah, so but obviously, I mean, I had a horrible comment in chat earlier. I just blocked the person. They were talking sexual stuff to me. I'm not interested in that for my community here. Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested in it. It wasn't an educational thing they were saying. They were saying about doing stuff with me. I'm not interested in that. So as long as people are respectful, then that's fine. But if I have stupid comments like that about doing stuff with me, then I'm not interested and I'm not going to put up with that. This is a respectful conversation, and I try and hold a safe space for people to share their emotions on this channel. Olivia, and the one with the one talking about drugs, yes, there was a guy who also told me to take weed, so I blocked him as well. I'm not interested in stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just not interesting. And I think that person might have commented on my channel before, and not, but I recognize the name, but it might not be the same person. Because some people have the same name, don't they? So, but I won't tolerate stuff like this. This is meant to be a safe space. Obviously, the majority of people who watch me are asexual, I think, as far as I know, but there's also a proportion of people who watch me that are not asexual. And because of the themes I cover are universal, you know, relationships and dating are universal. But obviously from an asexual point of view, I talk about that. So, like, for example, I've made a new friend, and the good thing about that for him is he's happy that I'm asexual because he's married and he's literally just looking for friends while he's over in the UK. He's going back to his country like next year, in the beginning of the next year, most likely. He was trying to get he was trying to get like a job over here for his wife and kid to come over with him. So I would have met his wife if she came over here, right? But as it stands, he's just literally looking for a friendship. He's not interested in anything else. It's just he likes a friend to do some stuff with, right? So he told me he looked up asexuality, and because he realised what it was when he'd done some research, he understood that I'm not going to be sexually attracted to him. I'm not going to want sex with him, which is he told me this. It's put his mind at ease, you know, because he knows that I'm not going to be wanting that. I'm not sexually attracted. Andy, so how people get asexual? Is it related to age or lifestyle, or is it by birth that people are not interested in sexual intercourse? Well, I didn't say people are not interested in sexual intercourse. Most asexuals are not. So you can't get asexual, right? You can't become asexual. It's something you are or are not, you know, because it's a genuine sexual orientation. It's not like a jacket you can put on and try. It's not something you can just grab and clutch onto and say, I want to be like that, right? So basically, many people who are asexual, they're born asexual, but don't realise it until later in life. A lot of people, right? They discover they're asexual later on in life, but they're usually always asexual and didn't realise it. They often know there's something different about them, right? But asexuality is not something you can get or try. It's a genuine sexual orientation. Yeah, that's what I was telling you. It's like all the other sexual orientations. And so asexuality is a lack of sexual attraction. It's not necessarily a lack of sexual action. So the majority of asexuals, they don't have sex, they're not interested, especially if they're a pure asexual. So there's two types of asexuals, pure asexuals and grey asexuals, right? That make up the asexual spectrum. There's lots of subcategories in between these two types of asexuals, right? And some are romantic asexuals and some are non-romantic, right? So the pure asexuals, like me, for example, we don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. So we don't have the need, urge, or want for sex. I don't look at any guy and think I want sex with him. I like kissing, so I might look at a guy and think I really want to kiss you right now. But even if I kiss him for a long period of time, I don't want sex with him, right? Which the guys don't understand. They're like, how are you holding yourself back? Like, how are you holding yourself back from urges? It's like, I don't get those urges. I don't have the urge for sex. No matter how much I'm passionately kissing a guy, I don't have those urges because I'm asexual. I lack sexual attraction. But some asexuals will have sex with a partner, because if their partner's heterosexual, for example, and some asexuals are not sex repulsed. I'm personally sex repulsed for me these days, but I have had sex in the past before I found out I'm asexual, probably a lot less than some other people have. And I would rather have done other stuff like listen to music and done washing up, which I absolutely hate doing the washing up. That's more interesting than sex for me. So, and it's not because I haven't had good sex. I've had good and bad sex, just to put that out there, because people are like, oh, you haven't had good sex, that's why you're asexual. It's like, no, the last experience with my long-term heterosexual ex was good experience, right? He was very considerate in that way. He was actually not good in other ways, right? But some asexuals that are not sex repulsed, that are sex indifferent, that are okay with sex, that are sex positive, they might have sex. If they're sex positive, they would usually have sex. But a lot of those ones, the majority tend to be on the grey side of the asexual spectrum. So grey asexual is someone who does experience sexual attraction, but not in the usual way. So it's like infrequently, under limited, rare, specific circumstances, or they experience it, but not enough to want to act on it. In general, that's what grey asexual means. Although grey asexual used to be a catch-all term for between asexual and heterosexual, for example. Between asexual and sexual people. It doesn't have to be heterosexual. But yeah, so it's basically, you know, between those spectrums. And so, yeah, that's in general just so pure asexuals, no sexual attraction. And then grey asexuals, rare or specifically circumstance sexual attraction. I hope that helps you to understand that. So, yeah. And so I'm asexual. I discovered I'm asexual in 2014. So I've known now, this is 2025 when I'm recording this live. So yeah, it's been 11 years now. I found out around about March, April 2020. Oh, sorry, I was going to say 2020, 2014. Not 2020, 2014. Yeah, and I didn't realize I was asexual, but I came to the conclusion, like there was in 2013, I dated this really, well, I wasn't dating actually, I was in a relationship with this really aesthetically hot Bangladeshi guy, right? I like younger foreign guys. So here's like 23-year-old Bangladeshi guy, really hot aesthetically. So when I say hot, I don't mean body, I mean facial, because I get attracted to guys' face and his frame, like his shoulders, not below the waist. So this is where I get attraction for a guy. This bit here, predominantly. Like the triangle, like his head and his shoulders, right? And a bit at the top of his arms. That's where I have the attraction, because I'm not interested in his genitalia, right? So I'm attracted to him like that, his face and his frame, not below the waist. I hope this is making sense to you. And so I'm not interested in the guy's body parts. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not attracted to women though, because people are like, oh, you're not attracted to body parts. Why aren't you attracted to women? Because I'm not attracted to boobs. I'm not attracted to women. And so I'm only attracted to guys, but it's like romantically, aesthetically, spiritually with some guys, intellectually, creatively, some guys, close attraction I have with other guys. There's like a video on here called eight types of asexual attraction. Well, these attractions can apply to people who are not asexual, but I call them asexual attractions because they're what I have, but without the sexual attraction. Oh, yes, it is making sense. I'm glad, Andy. It's good. So, yeah, so because when I was dating this hot Bangladeshi guy, aesthetically hot, in 2013, he wanted sex with me. I just couldn't bring myself to do that at all. Like, I was actually forcing myself at that point. I don't force myself anymore, because I understand I'm asexual now and people don't have to have sex, right? But back then, it's like society dictates usually that everyone should be having sex to have a healthy, happy relationship, or for it to be normal. And so I couldn't bring myself have sex with this guy, but I was really, really aesthetically attracted to him. For anyone who's just joined us, by the way, on this live stream, I'm talking about asexuality now, right? So I've gone off the topic of friendship and diving into asexuality and what that means. So just in case you've joined me and thinking, what's this got to do with friendship? So I was really attracted to this guy who's Bangladeshi, and so attracted, and I forced myself to do some stuff that I didn't really want to do, because I wanted to give him pleasure, if you like, but I couldn't bring myself to have sex with him, because I just didn't. My mind was just saying you can't do it, because I just didn't want to do it. And yeah, and then I knew that something was really different about me, and I'm like, there's something very different. I've never had sex again since 2011, which is when I was with my last long-term ex, and I just don't want it, need it, or like it. I'm not interested in it. Heather, I know weed is legalized in Canada. I'm not into weed. The smell of it is gross. Oh, thank you. That came at a random moment, Heather. We'll talk about something different, but thank you for saying that. Yes, I hate it. Because in the UK, people are going out, people are smoking it through their windows and in the streets. It's disgusting. But we're digressing again. But I mean, this is a chat show, so we do digress sometimes onto different topics. But yes, drugs actually lowers bone density as well, just like caffeine does and alcohol does. So good job I'm not into them. So that's when I found out I'm asexual. So I didn't find out till 2014, because I went to a counsellor in 2014. This whole story basically is in my book, the Asexual Perspectives book. So people who've got this book will already know this about me. You can get this on Amazon. But basically, I just couldn't bring myself to have sex ever again. I went to see a counsellor in 2014 because I said I love kissing and holding hands, but I'm just really not interested in sex, and I'm worried. At that point I was worried I was going to be alone forever, and I was really down about it. And she just said the worst thing possible to me, because I'd gone there to say the expectation of sex at the end of the night with a heterosexual guy was making me almost wet myself, because I didn't want sex, and that's what the expectation was. And she said the worst thing possible to me. She told me I'd have to have sex if I want to keep a good guy. And I was literally horrified. I'm like, no guy is good for me if he wants me to do something I don't want to do in order to get love and be in a relationship with him. That guy's not healthy for me. And so I was really, really shocked. And I went home and Googled, I love kissing but not sex. And that's when it came up with asexuality.org, which is the biggest online forum for asexuals. And then I went in the forums and I'm like, oh my God, there's other people like me who want a romantic relationship without sex. I'm like, wow. And that's how I knew there's thousands of people who are asexual all around the globe. Just most people aren't out about it publicly like I am. Thousands. But that's the trouble. We're all spread out. Andy, that also means that attraction can also be asexual. Like you really want to be around someone like a bee on the flower, but not sexually. So someone can also be asexual, right? So romance can also be asexual. So let me just explain what I mean, because I might have confused you a little bit. So asexuals can have attractions even if they're not sexual attraction. So just because someone doesn't have sexual attraction doesn't mean to say they can't have other attractions. In general, society clumps all attractions together as sexual attraction, but it actually isn't. That's why this channel is quite insightful, because I break down the different types of attraction. So on my channel, you'll actually see a 8 attractions video series. I've said it asexual attraction because I'm a person who experiences all those attractions without sexual attraction. But you can experience those attractions as well as being sexual, right? So an asexual person can have romantic attraction, but some asexuals don't have romantic attraction at all. They're known as aromantics or aromantics. They're absence of romantic attraction. So you can get aromantic asexuals and aromantic sexuals. So some asexuals don't experience any romantic attraction whatsoever, and they don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. Some asexuals experience romantic attraction. I experience romantic attraction, but I don't experience sexual attraction whatsoever. I experience aesthetic attraction, but I don't experience sexual attraction. I experience emotional attraction, but I don't experience sexual attraction. I experience close attraction, but I don't experience sexual attraction. I experience creative attraction, but I don't experience sexual attraction. I also have sensual attraction with a guy's upper body, but I don't experience sexual attraction. Intellectual attraction, I think I've said that. Like, I would like to ask one thing. Okay, so long as it's respectful, you can ask it. What is it you'd like to ask? The video, I'll try and find the video actually on my channel. I have to log into my laptop. And no, I don't do any sexual stuff. But I do have sexual behavior, the way I like to kiss and dance. Like, I would like to ask, right, let me, I'm going on to my channel now, right? So this is where I am. I'm live. See, I'm live talking on here, right? So when you go to my channel, this is like the homepage of my channel. And you can go down to different videos here. And then you can see different types of videos, right? But when you go to the actual main home page, this is like put in different categories. So this is like what they recommend for me of my own channel. But this is the 8 of Asexual Attraction series. So what is romantic attraction? What is emotional attraction? What is spiritual attraction? What is creative attraction? What is intelligence attraction? What is close attraction? And then it's got more. See, we're on close attractions. 2 more. What is aesthetic attraction and what is sensual attraction? So this series here explains all the different types of attractions that I experience personally. But I don't tend to experience platonic attraction, which is the main attraction a lot of asexuals experience. So usually I have some attraction for my friends even. Some type of attraction. So yeah. But yeah, so I've done this, but anyone who's not asexual can experience romantic attraction, emotional attraction, spiritual attraction, a lot of other ones. But I talked about this because this is what I experienced from my own personal point of view. Andy, I really liked this girl, but I never had a sexual thought about her. What is this? A romantic attraction but no intimacy? it depends on how you feel about her. So, because I'm not you, and I don't know exactly all that surrounded your feelings about her, I can't really analyze that. It depends, because you could, if you never had a sexual thought, I mean, some people you just don't find sexually attractive, and you might not find attractive at all. Some people, you might just be a personality you liked without actually having a direct attraction to her. Romantic attraction means you like to do romantic things with her, like kiss her, cuddle her, hold her hand, have a moonlight strolls, romantic candlelit dinners. This is like romantic attraction. Do you know what I mean? But if you just considered her as a friend and you didn't have any sexual feelings towards her at all, you probably have a platonic attraction towards her. So it depends. If you liked her face, thought her face was very attractive, but you weren't sexually attracted to her, then, you could have some aesthetic attraction if you found her face like pretty and alluring, but didn't want sex with her. So you have to decide what it was. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, some people, there's a few people in the world that identify as asexual and sexual, which, you know what I mean? You can't really have both exactly, because if you're sexually attracted towards anyone, you're not asexual. But you can be asexually attracted to one gender, for example, and sexually attracted to another. No, but not as a friend. So you liked her, but not as a friend. I really wanted her to be with me as a life partner. Oh, right, yeah. So probably that's romantic attraction then. It sounds like. If you wanted to do romantic stuff with her, but you didn't have a sexual thought about her, it's probably romantic attraction. Yeah, sounds like you're romantically attracted. Yeah, so I'm a hyper-romantic asexual. This is very rare for any sexual orientation, particularly asexuals. Most asexuals, even if they're romantic, they're not like me. So when you say I really wanted her to be with me as a life partner, but I never thought of her in a sexual way. So I'm guessing you're attracted to her in other ways then. Because if you really wanted her to be a life partner, I think you have to ask yourself the question, like, why did you want her to be a life partner? Like, was it her looks? Was it her personality? Was it shared interests? Was it commonalities? Was it shared hobbies? Or, like I said, did you want to do romantic things with her? I think you said yes to the romantic things, didn't you? Like, kiss, cuddle, hold hands. Kiss, cuddle, hold hands. Have candlelit dinners, just be in each other's arms, holding each other's type of thing. This is like romantic attraction. Because some people get very confused about what romantic attraction is. But it really means you want to do romantic things with them. So it's that if you want to do romantic things and have them as a life partner, yes, all of them. So yeah, it sounds like you're romantically attracted to the person, but not sexually attracted to them. That's what it sounds like to me. So yeah, but I don't know if you experience sexual attraction with other people or not. Her whole existence. Oh, that's really, really nice. Did you have a spiritual attraction to her then, or are you not spiritual? You kind of have to be spiritual to have a spiritual attraction to someone. But it sounds like you liked her whole being and essence. So yeah, I mean, do check out my series on my channel. You know what I mean? Like, check out this 8 asexual attraction series, because it does explain what romantic attraction is, emotional attraction, all the other attractions I talked about. Do you know what I mean? So it'll give you a good idea. That's on my homepage of my channel, which I'm live on now. So yeah, so that's what it sounds like to me, is romantic attraction. And it's really nice. I'm guessing this person is not in your life anymore, or not actually your partner. So yeah, I'm sorry if things didn't work out for you both, but it sounds like you're still thinking of her. So yeah, I'd say that's definitely a romantic attraction. So As a hyper romantic, I'm excessively romantic. I go on dates with myself. Actually, tomorrow's my date day with myself. It's like Saturday now, and usually Sunday I go to the cinema with myself. Take myself for some romantic cinema time. Just going to the cinema I find romantic. I find it very you know, therapeutic. The cinema, also very romantic. Andy, you guessed it right. Is she with someone else now, this girl? Do you know? Maybe it was one-sided. Yeah, I think you do have to analyze things looking back, whether it's a friendship or a relationship or a potential relationship, and you have to understand, like, what was the other person like? You know, how did they feel about you? Was it reciprocated or not? And if it wasn't, if it is one-sided, you have to move on and know that that person was not your person. I'm in Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club, so I pay a yearly membership. Matthew Hussey is the world's #1 dating and relationship coach on YouTube, and literally he's well known in the whole world. He lives in Hollywood now, 17 years experience, and he's always talking about, you know, like, if someone is not in your life anymore and they're not actually in a relationship with you, if you're looking for a relationship, then they're not your person, right? They can't be your person if they didn't choose you. So, if a person doesn't choose you to be in a relationship with you, if you don't end up in a relationship together and you want a relationship, or you wanted, you have to literally let them go, because you have to realize in your mind that this person is not your person, right? They're not for you. So we often play in our heads over and over again someone we really liked that it didn't work out with. We play it over and over again in our heads, especially if it's unrequited love, or if it's a relationship that didn't go the way we wanted, and we'll play it over in our head going, what if this, what if that? But Matthew Hussey always talks about a story. You know, we have to stop telling ourselves a story about what if this happened, which it didn't happen. And if the person didn't choose to be with us, they're not our person, because we can only be in a relationship with someone, healthy relationship with someone, who chooses to be with us as equally as we choose them. And if they didn't choose to be with you, they're not your person. So you have to move on. That allows you to release and move on, because they're not your person. As soon as you are out of that person's life, they change. You know, that you don't know them anymore because they're not the person that you knew exactly when you were with them. You know, so you have to let it go. Same with friendships. If a friendship ends, you have to move on and realize that person was not meant to stay in your life. Therefore, they can't be the friend you thought they were going to be forever, if you thought they were going to be a forever friend. We have to realize that some people in our life come and go. Some is to teach us a lesson about ourselves or about life. And, you know, and what's meant to be will be. Do you know what I mean? Andy, even now, if I ever think of her, I smile unknowingly. Oh, thanks, Olivia, for still being here, by the way. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, in order to move on, you do have to realise, yeah, I totally agree and respect that. Yeah, you do have to realise that she's not your person, because I say a thing on this channel I say a lot, is you can't open your heart up to someone else fully when you've got someone else in it. So if you're hankering after that person, if you're still thinking about that person, you can't actually move forward and move on to anyone else, because someone else still has a big part in your heart. You have to come to terms with the fact this person is not your person, and you're wasting time thinking about this person when you could be telling yourself a fantasy and story, when you could be actually looking for the person who is the right person for you. Because we end up getting, I've done this before, I'm very guilty of this myself, is I get into my head a story like, what if that didn't happen? Or what if that person didn't say that? What if you didn't say that? What if this happened? What if I met them slightly later time? What if they were more settled? You know, bad timing. There isn't, Matthew always talks about, there's no such thing as bad timing. If it's not the right time, that's it. It wasn't happening that time, it's not happening. Don't go around, it wasn't the right time. It means it wasn't right. So we have to let the story go, and we have to let them go, because we can't have a healthy relationship with someone else if we're still hankering after that person, because we'll be comparing them to that person. And you don't want to be the person who compares the new person to that person, because it's not fair on them. We have to let the fantasy and the person go. And if it was one-sided, that's a major red flag. And we have to put the red flag there, not the fairy tale story we tell ourselves. We have to put this red flag that's waving. Oh my God, it was one-sided, unrequited love or whatever it was, right? Annie, just to be clear, I'm highly attracted to other girls sexually, but never for that person, never had a clue what is this feeling. Ah, right. So I'm glad you've learned something about yourself tonight. That's really good. And I think, does that make it more intense knowing that it wasn't sexual because it's something different for you? So you probably valued that person maybe even more because you weren't focused on the physical aspect. You were focused on all the other things. Does that make sense? Is that why it's sticking in your mind more? Or is there other girls that stick in your mind as well? Because if it's sticking in mind, it's probably because you had different types of attractions for her and liked her soul and being. And because it wasn't a sexual, lusty thing, it probably stayed in your nervous system in a way because you're actually feeling for that person. Because obviously sexual attraction gets in the way of things. It's like a band-aid for problems as well in relationships and sexual relationships. It's a very big band-aid for problems. Like two people who are very sexually attracted to each other can be together for a very long time, but they're not actually good for each other because their values don't align, their personalities don't match, their goals, ambitions and dreams don't even match. There's misalignment. They're not actually compatible. They might be sexually compatible, but they're not actually compatible in terms of longevity, in terms of a serious, committed, long-term relationship. Because sexual attraction is very powerful and it's very draws you in. And it's a very dopamine hit constantly. It's like a drug. As is, you know, I'm a hyper romantic, so I have the kind of like romantic bug drug, if you like. You know what I mean? Get high on romance. So yeah, have to be aware of that. Can only be romantic with myself really at the moment, but that's not a bad thing, hey. So yeah, but yeah, I think maybe she sticks out more because it was different to you, to what you normally experience, I mean. So yeah, that's probably why it stuck out, because obviously a person who you want to spend the rest of your life with is someone that you want the whole package with, not just the sexual attraction. You want to have the other things. And if you didn't feel sexual attraction to her, but you could still be with her without that, then that's very interesting, isn't it? That's what, because I say to people, like some heterosexuals, for example, can be with a asexual person in a relationship because they value that person more than the sex, and sex is not that interesting to them, or they don't need the sex. So it's not very many heterosexuals that can have that type of relationship long term, but it can happen. Because obviously we know that relationships are based on far more than just sexual attraction. But obviously if sexual attraction is a big deal and sex is a big deal to that person, and the asexual person, for example, doesn't want sex at all, that's not going to be compatible. It's not going to work. Both people are going to be very unhappy. So, do you know what I mean? It's like in friendship, you've got to have commonalities and compatibility in friendships to a certain thing. You haven't, it's not exactly the same as a relationship, because a relationship takes things to a whole nother level with intimacy and sharing your life with them and this type of stuff. So it's like on another level usually. But some asexuals, they really get into like bestest ever friendship scenarios, which are very, very close, very similar to a relationship. Andy, I used to ask myself, am I perv? Like, do I not respect other females? And due to that reason, I don't want to think in a bad way for her. Oh, right, okay, that's weird. But you do get sexually attracted to other people. So that's weird that you used to think that. That's interesting, because I mean, obviously, if you are sexually attracted, unless you're doing something that's wrong and, you know, doing perverted stuff, then, you know, people who experience sexual attraction, it doesn't mean to say that every sexual attracted person's a pervert. It depends on their behavior of how they're using that sexual attraction and what they're doing with it and their behavior with it. Do you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? So although I don't experience sexual attraction myself, I don't think every person who experiences sexual attraction is a bad person. I just know that it's a lot of people's focus is on the sexual attraction, and that masks a lot of problems in relationships, and it masks a lot of incompatibility because they're so sexually attracted to each other. And it's not a very strong, healthy foundation for a relationship then. Like every relationship should have a foundation of friendship. Yes, you experience sexual attraction for others, but not for her at all. Only romance, calm, peace, and happiness. Well, that's what you want in a relationship, isn't it? Calm, peace, and happiness. That's like a healthy relationship. When you can feel calm, peace, and happiness around someone and within yourself, that makes for a healthy relationship. Because sexual attraction, I'm sure, can be very, very intense. I mean, I can feel guys sexually attracted to me. I can be very intense and overwhelming. Do you know what I mean? I can feel it feels like like this sometimes. Sometimes it does feel a bit leechy, I've got to admit. Sometimes it does feel like a dog on heat. Like I've got a guy who's like on heat, like going like this, right? Sometimes it feels like that. I can feel that as an asexual person. Do you know what I mean? And it gets overwhelming a bit much. Like I was in a relationship last year with a heterosexual guy. He knew I was asexual and we didn't have sex, but sometimes like we would be kissing and he would get a bit too sexual with the kissing. And I used to kind of have to stop, and say this is getting a bit too sexual for me and remind him that I don't like that. Do you know what I mean? It kind of made it quite difficult some of the time. You know what I mean? So it's hard, I think, if you've got two completely different sexualities. It depends how you navigate it, really. But you know what I mean? I can be sexual and behavioural the way I like to kiss and dance, but I'm not interested in sex at all. I always tell a guy that up front, Andy. And I'm also not very sad at the moment, so do not misunderstand me. Oh, okay. Thank you for setting me straight on that. That's very important. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you've understood what asexuality is. I think I've covered what asexuality is. I hope it was helpful. And I know I've been streaming now for like 2 hours and 35 minutes and my voice is starting to get a little hoarse. So I can picture this like horse coming in now. But anyway, so I just want to recap as well in a minute on the friendship thing. Andy, like I would be happier than ever if I just get to see her randomly. I know. But don't forget, there are other girls out there who could be your ideal dream girl in reality. Never forget that. Do you know what I mean? You might find out that she was very sexually attracted to you and that she would have just wanted romance with you. But you never know. But if you felt it was one-sided, then it is, don't hanker after her. Go after a woman, a girl who really wants to be with you, would be my advice. Because like you're still in the fantasy of her at the moment. And in order to move on and get a better, get someone who's suitable for you for a relationship, you need to be thinking about the now present rather than the past, if you know what I mean, would be my advice if you're looking for advice. If you're not, that's fine. But I appreciate you sharing your feelings, because obviously it's good to share feelings and emotions as well and get something, get your thoughts out. But yeah, like there's loads of girls out there. I'm sure you'll find someone who's suitable for you. But by the way, I just came for fun, learnt something. Oh, right. Well, I'm glad you learnt something. The educational channel, I do some like more fun videos, but there's the ones I do like live streams like this, they are very like educational and serious stuff. I'm glad you learnt something. Yeah. So because I like to provide a safe space in these live streams for people to bring up difficult topics, and that's why I'm very cautious and careful what I talk about, because obviously people are going through difficult times in their life sometimes. Anyway, before I end this live stream, I do want to talk about friendship, because that's what I was originally speaking about. I do want to recap about making friends as an adult, some of the stuff I discussed earlier before I go, because I'm going to end this live stream soon. So one is to be very intentional. Obviously a lot of these do apply to relationships as well. And so they said, and ice wallacum is not a real word. Well, some people misspell welcome, don't they? So I read it as ice welcome, but not spelt correctly. Do you know what I mean? People don't spell correctly. It's bad grammar, isn't it? That's why I just thought ice welcome probably means that I don't know. I don't get involved. If people want to write silly stuff, eventually I'll either delete it, block them, or I'll just like not be bothered about it. Do you know what I mean? Depends what it is. Obviously, if it's upsetting my other viewers, then I'll just delete or block it. But I just thought, I saw that and I'm like, well, I'm here educating people. I'm not bothered about if you're going to write a comment that's not good, then that's it, I don't have time to be worried about everyone's little words. So yeah, so to recap on friendship then, when you're making friends as an adult, be very, very intentional about, why you want to make friends, and what type of qualities you want in a friendship. And then make sure you get out of your comfort zone and go to different places. You need to go and be with different people, go to different places and do different things. Combination of all three, or at least one of them. And this requires doing something different every month usually. So, you're around different people in different social circles and at different times as well. I mean, you can sometimes make friends to places you already go to, but if you go to them at the same time, you're going to meet the same people you choose to go to the place you normally go to, but at a different time. Or go and do a different activity at the same place. Do you know what I mean? So, Andy says, I just came for fun, but this stream is now special. Oh, thank you. And so be intentional, work out what qualities you want in a friendship. This is the same with actual relationship as well. If you want a romantic relationship, for example, be intentional and list the qualities of what you want in the relationship. But as we're talking about friendship, be intentional and, like I said, make sure you know the qualities you want in a friendship. Olivia, wow, I think this is now like 3 hours. Not quite, it's 2 hours, 40 minutes, Olivia, but my longest live stream is 4 hours and 10 minutes, I think. That's my very longest live stream. Ever so far. And then, go to different places, meet different people at different times, do different things. So it's all about being different, doing different things to what you usually do. And you have to get out of your comfort zone as well. And then obviously you have to approach people, build rapport with them, chat about things like you can start with a general conversation if you want, but you can ask them like, how long have you been attending these meetups? Is it the first time you've been to a meetup? Because I think one of the ways you can meet people for friendship is through meetups for friendship, whether that's online or in person. I recommend doing both, so you got more chances. And you need to build rapport, which means asking them questions about themselves. Look to see if they're asking questions about you as well. So there should be some reciprocity there. That's a very good sign. If there's negative signs, red flags like contradictions, very difference in values, maybe they're okay to still like chat at the meetup, say hi to, but you don't want to be getting heavily involved with someone who's not telling you the truth, right? Contradictions usually mean that the person is lying and not being honest. So, because you can't have two things being true if they're opposites of each other, right? So we have to be mindful of this: values, belief system. Some of it obviously is stuff that you can just say hi to the person at a meetup, because these people go to the same meetups over and over again, so you can't avoid everyone that you might not get on with or might not have the same values or beliefs with, but you can still keep them from a distance, can't you? As like someone to just say hi to at meetups, basically, and maybe have a little chat with. But you want to be focusing on people that you really, can see long term, or at least some friendship with. Like, do you know what I mean? You can see something progressing, because you want to have progression. You don't want to just stagnate. So reciprocity is a big thumbs up. Contradictions, no, we don't want to be forming friendships with people who are not honest, right? And we need to be using our discernment, and we need to be making sure boundaries are in place, right? So they know what you're looking for. So if you're going to meet up and you just want friendship, make it clear you just only want friendship. They start talking to you about sexual stuff, you're not interested in the sexual stuff, it's like, no, I'm not interested in that. Like, you don't go to a friendship group looking for sexual stuff, or you shouldn't, right? Specifically if it's just for friends. So it's very, very important. And then obviously if you build rapport, have reciprocity, they talk to you back, you talk to them, then you need to actually, initiate some form of speaking to them outside that meetup if you're comfortable. This might just be that you meet them at a meetup a few times. You don't do this on the first time you ever meet them, right? Or if you're getting on really well, you may be chatting for like 3 hours at a meetup, then yeah, you might want to exchange numbers, message each other or whatever, or even just an hour or whatever. If it's a quite a long period of time, seem to get on really well. It depends on the rules of the group. So some rules are very strict and they don't allow you to message in the meetup itself. You have to message outside the meetup group. So in a person, they might be like friendship only, do not message in the meetup. You can only message them after the meetup, outside the meetup. They're very strict on that. Some groups on Facebook, if you're looking for friendship, they'll be like, oh, you can only, message people from the group who you've previously commented on their post, right? So always be aware of the rules of the group. You don't want to deviate from the rules of the group and get chucked out of the group, right? So, be mindful of that, and then realize that if you do meet up with these people outside of meetup and you don't get on well, you might still have to see them at a meetup again, right? So make sure that if you are going to see them at meetup again, you still keep on okay terms with them, because you don't really want animosity. But obviously if someone's horrible or not good to you, then you have to leave the situation. If you do get into a situation where you see them as friends and they are having behavior that's not acceptable to you, you have to walk away, put boundaries in place, say, that's not what I'm interested in, and walk away, right? That's what you have to do. So use your discernment and judge the situation. Feel in your gut. Do you feel safe around this person? Is your nervous system being like calm and peaceful, or is it playing up? So are you married or in a relationship at the moment? No, I'm not married, and I don't ever want marriage. I'm not interested in marriage. Years ago I was engaged. I got into a relationship as a teenager, a long-term relationship from teenager, and I was engaged to that person, but I never married, and I'm not interested in getting married. Even if I was in a relationship, I don't want marriage. And no, I'm not in a relationship either. The last relationship I had was last year, and Olivia said I didn't know that. So yeah, and I don't ever want kids either. I haven't wanted them since I was 15. That's never changed. The guy I saw earlier, he's married with a kid, but he only wants friendship, and so do I. And he's relieved that I'm asexual because he knows I'm not sexually attracted to him, which he's had problems with trying to make friends with women in the past that have said they just want friendship or been on a friendship site. And then, they've wanted more from him, and they didn't really want just friends. But I just want friendship with him, nothing more. I would never ever come between any guy and his partner or wife. He said his wife's cool with stuff like that. She knows all his friends and what goes on in his life. And he's probably going back to his country in January, so probably won't see him again after that. So yeah, make it clear that it's just friendship if it's just friendship. And, that's important. But yeah, I like being single. I mean, even if I was in a relationship, I wouldn't even want to live with the guy. I like being on my own. I don't want sex. I don't want marriage. I don't want kids. And I don't even want to live together. Even if I was in a relationship, I prefer living apart together relationship. Sorry if I shouldn't have asked that question. It's fine to ask me if I'm in a relationship or married. I mean, it's not a bad question, is it? But yeah, so, I'm not... I even in a relationship, if I was to have a relationship, my ideal scenario would be the guy just lived around the corner from me, and we lived separately in separate places. But at the moment, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm in Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. Most people are in there for dating relationships. I'm in there to learn about dating relationships, to expand my knowledge, but I intend to be there for 5 years. I'm in my 2nd year now because I'm interested in progressing myself. And because Matthew Hussey teaches and coaches on 3 different types of relationships. The one you have with yourself, the one you have with other people, and the one you have with your life. So it's very diverse. So I'm not in there to just get a relationship. At the end of the 5 years, maybe I'll think, I mean, it might not be the end of 5 years, but I'm thinking more to work on myself and grow myself and understanding more about dating relationships and everything I like. Well, I won't say everything. A lot of what I learn, I then can obviously help people with more on this channel, because I've been helping people with dating relationships myself before I joined Matthew's club last year. But Matthew's much more experienced than I am. And he has a lot more knowledge than I do, and much better knowledge of certain things than I do. So I'm in there to improve my own learning, so then I can help other people. Because if I'm improving myself, then I can improve things for others as well, if you understand what I mean. So I pay for a yearly membership in his Love Live Club. Matthew Hussey, if you Google him, is the top dating relationship coach in the world, and I have the fortunate circumstance where I'm able to be coached by him in a group setting. Do you know what I mean? So privately, so it's really good. And for me personally, like someone asked me the other day, so if like when I told them I'm in his club, they're like, oh, so you're in a relationship now then? I'm like, no, because I'm not even focused on that. I mean, it might sound weird, but I'm not actually focused on that. I'm there to learn about dating relationships, but I don't currently want one. I don't think I'm at the right stage in my life where I want one. I mean, I mean, sometimes I'm 50-50 on it. Sometimes I'm like, I prefer being single. Sometimes I'm like, I want a relationship. But at the moment, I'm not even interested in a relationship. I actually prefer to be with myself at the moment and just be nicely happy on my own. And do you know what I mean? I think relationships take a long time. You have to know someone for a very long time to have a healthy relationship with them. And I just want to work on myself. I'm not, I mean, they say if you're in a toxic relationship, you should not be looking to date or have a relationship with anyone else for at least a year. So I did have a year off of online dating because I've got 10 years online dating experience. I am still on Badoo, which I have gone a bit looked at on there more recently after the year of being like not active on there. But, pretty much all the guys are looking to just hook up, really. The majority of them, they'll just hardly write anything in their bio, and they're just like looking to chat, or looking to chat just basically means they want something casual or hook up, basically. They got nothing much on their bio, the majority of them. So, you know what I mean? I get free premium membership there because I was on the site so much. They gave me the membership, the premium one, for free. And so I'm like, okay, I'll have a look. But, it's just not really healthy guys, a lot of the guys on there. And as I get the free membership, every so often they email me going, Badoo misses you. And I'll go on there thinking, oh my God. Yep. Not my type, So yes. But yeah, so I hope that makes sense. I'm really romantic as well. I'm hyper romantic and hyper kisser. But I'm kind of enjoying being single at the moment and just chilling out by myself. Do you know what I mean? I think it's healthy for me. And I plan to be in Matthew's club for 5 years. And like I said, I think I've already mentioned that, but this is my second year. So I purposely want to do at least 5 years. I might be obviously in there a lot longer than that. But I believe that I've got a lot of work to do on myself with improvements within myself and understanding more about healthy dating relationships. And at the end of the 5 years, then I'll reassess like where I'm at. But usually, even if people get into a relationship, it's still good to be in Matthew's club, because even in a relationship, you still need ongoing like coaching and help with things. If you find the right coach, I believe Matthew's the right coach for me. I really resonate with his teachings, his coaching. He has an anxious attachment style, and I do. So it's really good getting advice from someone who's also comes from an anxious attached background, which is really helpful. And it's like you get coaching in their live coaching, usually every week. And it's just such advanced stuff. He has a lot of other experts he talks to in there. So I'm not allowed to share behind the scenes in there because it's private. It's against the community rules. But obviously it's helping me to then help, other people. And so usually the live streams mostly are educational ones. I do some no sex movie reviews as well, and then I do a lot more other stuff like entertainment and lifestyle videos, vlogs. I do about 3 to 5 vlogs a day usually about just stuff in my life, because I like to share my own life journey in order to help others. Do you know what I mean? Just ordinary stuff, fun stuff, that type of thing. I like to do a mixture, keep it real. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for being here in chat. Olivia, Andy, and also Heather was in chat a lot earlier. And I'm going to say goodbye for now. Don't forget to grab my books if you're interested in asexuality. Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories. Just type that into Amazon. Love, Life and Sex, A Celebration of Asexual Diversity. I'm glad, Andy, that it's been helpful for you. If you've got fibromyalgia, which is a chronic pain condition I have, don't forget to grab a copy of Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, or if you just want to decrease your pain in up to 25 aspects of your life, you can still grab a copy of that, even if you don't have fibro, and Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual. This is very insightful. Life lessons are very good. So these are all on Amazon. And take care. Thank you, Olivia. Lots of love to you. And lots of love to Andy and Heather and anyone else who's watching. And I'll see you soon on the next video or live stream. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode, never miss a vlog. And I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Take care. Bye.